All right, welcome in, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We are in October the 2nd, Wednesday, right here on Jocks 94.5. Glad you're with us. Lots to get to today. One thing we didn't hit yesterday, GMAC, was the story about the SEC and Big Ten meeting in Nashville.
Loved it.
Potentially.
It's in 8 days, so we have time.
The story? Like, just you love what's going to happen? Or you love that Ross Dellinger's writing about it? What do you love about it?
I love that we're going to dominate. I love that this thing's a wrap.
You love that we're pushing all the small guys out?
Yep.
Getting rid of them?
See ya.
We're killing.
I don't care about watching Western Kentucky Bama anymore. I don't care about watching Furman Auburn. I care about watching the best against the best.
What about Mercer Ole Miss?
The two of the highest rated games, good offense. The two highest rated games, or two of the highest rated games, are Texas at Michigan and USC and LSU. Take the biggest and best programs in the country and make them play each other. Make it a mandate. And what I loved more, because this made me think to myself, like, oh, okay, hang on, this actually might happen. They are going to sell that package of games in excess of the packages that are already in place, if they can potentially get it done. Now, that's what I thought was really interesting, because you have right now Fox, NBC, and CBS that have exclusivity over all Big Ten rights. And then ESPN, ABC has them over all SEC rights. Well, if they do these kickoff classics or tip-off challenges or Big Ten SEC challenge like they have in basketball, they might sell those separately, which means another stream of revenue and I think something that would be really valuable to most television consumers. So
what if I played contrarian here and I told you the reason that LSU and USC does a big number is we don't get that very often.
And we might still not.
It's unique right now. So
we might still not. But that's the thing. Like, we have the SEC has been in its current form for 1 year, but prior to this, there was a 12-year period where they, from 2012 to 2023, where they had 14 members. And how many times did A&M play at Georgia?
I don't think any.
0. So we have conference games that don't happen that often now. It'll be fine.
I think they're going to be, it would be great games. It would make for incredible competition. Do you think that the coaches really want this every week?
No.
I know Coach Saban said he did. I can't imagine a lot of other coaches, when they really sit back and think about it, want it that way, like that.
No, they don't. They definitely don't. But it ain't about them. You make your $9 million, you play the games we tell you to play. That's how I say it. That's how I think. I mean, I'm not saying it makes their job easier, but it's, hey, you make a lot of money, generational wealth. Like, you can figure it out. It'll be all right. And the other thing I think that's interesting about it too is the possibility or the indication. Hey, guess what? ACC, hey, Big 12, hey, it's nice knowing you. Here we go. We're going on about our way.
Okay.
Like, this is another step in the direction. I don't think any of the commissioners want blood on their hands, but they don't really care if it helps them. How many people associated with the Pac-12 right now are concerned about the Mountain West? How many people at the Mountain West are concerned about Conference USA?
Not many.
Besides nobody, I don't know who. So I think the commissioners, they'll do what's best for them. And the best thing for college football in 20 years might be for it to be the SEC against the Big Ten. That might be the best thing for it. I don't know if it is. It's 20 years, but we're trending in that direction.
Okay. 800-239-9569. Do you want to be a part of that? You can. Conversation of SEC Big Ten commissioners set to meet in Nashville to discuss future scheduling formats, what that might be, what that might look like. Speaking of ratings, you just mentioned it. 11.985 million for Georgia, Alabama on ABC Saturday night. I don't think there's any surprise that was the most watched college football game of the week. Second most college football game of the weekend. If you want to know how big of a number that is, second most watched college football game of the weekend, Oklahoma, Auburn. Just over 5 million people. Just over 5.
It's a lot.
Alabama, Georgia more than doubled that. So those are some of the matchups that you were wanting to be able to put in prime time, that you were going to want to be able to put in different spots, Greg, that we're going to be able to get that number. And there you go. You're off and running.
Yeah. I mean, not really that surprising. Good number for Oklahoma, Auburn. Obviously, it being a great game, I think helps a lot. That's a really good number. I mean, ABC had a nice day last week for sure. So, I mean, yeah, Bama, Georgia. Those are the games that move the needle. I'm just telling you. Like, I've done ACC games this year, and it had 2 million people watching it, which is not a big number. So, you want numbers. And numbers equate to money. You need the biggest brands. You need the biggest games. You need the biggest matchups. You need to come down the wire. You need to be a classic. All these other things for it to really, really hit home. It's the highest rated game of the season, and will probably remain the highest rated game of the season until potentially Ohio State, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Ohio State, Michigan. But that's exclusive because just the sheer size of that fan base. Million living alumni. So Ohio State's always going to do the biggest numbers, followed closely by Michigan. Penn State will be there too, and Bama. Those are the 4 top dogs. But it'll be really interesting, I think, to see as we move forward. I mean, the Michigan SC game did 9 million. So, I mean, that was a good number.
It's a really good number.
But to have 3 million more than that is crazy.
It is. I mean, how many left this year can get close to that, do you think?
Georgia, Texas can.
Can Ohio State, Oregon get close to that?
Yeah.
Ohio State, Michigan will get close to that.
Ohio State, Michigan will get higher than that. Ohio State, Michigan will be 15 million.
Iron Bowl might not be that big this year.
No. Texas A&M could.
That one could be massive.
Could be a big one.
That's one I had kind of forgotten about.
Iron Bowl I don't think Iron Bowl ever does anything that's like that. No disrespect to the game.
No, it's done some big numbers though.
But not 15 million. Not Ohio State, Michigan numbers. I think Texas, Georgia has a chance. I think Ohio State, Oregon's a national brand. Oregon moves the needle. And it's going to be really built up. It's going to be heavily promoted on Fox, NBC, and CBS, I would imagine.
Alabama, Tennessee?
No.
Alabama at LSU?
No.
Won't get close?
To 12 million?
I'm just asking the question.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
LSU beats Ole Miss.
Bama, Tennessee is likely to be at 3:30.
What about Red River this year?
No. Same day as
because it's in the day.
Same day. Well, it's 3:30, and it's also the same day as Ohio State, Oregon.
Okay.
I don't know what time Ohio State, Oregon is just yet. 12 is going to be the highest in the SEC.
Alabama, Vandy, 3:15 on the SEC network.
Not rated.
If it were. Big number?
Slight under.
Great analysis coming.
I believe that. 12 million is a big number, dude. That's a massive number. Really, really big number. So can't say it's super surprising, I might add, with everything. I mean, the fact that it peaked at 14 million is insane.
Oh.
That's big time number. Just for record, just so people understand, playoffs last year, Bama, Michigan did 20 million. Texas and Washington was, I believe, 18 thereabouts. So you're getting kind of close to playoff numbers when you start getting into the middle double digits, like at 14-1 with the peak. So yeah, it's wild, man. It's a big, big, big audience, and the SEC is very strong. And it kind of goes to show you, Auburn traditionally has rated fine. They're probably top 8 in the SEC, which is good. Top 8 in this league is very solid. But Oklahoma is a big one. And Oklahoma kind of shows you there. Adding Oklahoma, everyone talks about Texas. Oklahoma is a really big brand. And I don't think people fully comprehend or think about that as much in this part of the country as where I'm from. Yeah. Oklahoma really moves the needle. So that's a really good number for Auburn, Oklahoma for sure.
What about Oklahoma, Alabama later this year?
They'll do a big number as long as Oklahoma's still alive. You know, as long as they're still in the mix. They'll do a huge one.
Before we go to break, I have a little bit of a game that I want to play with some SEC teams later in the show today, just kind of who belongs where. We'll do that at 8 o'clock this morning. Trent Dilfer coming up in a couple minutes after our first break. Justin Hokanson kind of gets us updated on everything Auburn at 7:45. We'll discuss SEC teams, not necessarily tiers, but just maybe where certain teams belong at 8 a.m. Top 3, 8:45 today. We'll push that back an hour. Matt Barry's going to be with us to talk college football at 9. So keep it locked. We got good stuff all day. So we'll begin to roll into some of the games coming up this weekend. Where is Oklahoma going to be? Because now you have a week off before you play Texas. And you have a young quarterback that it did appear as though Seth Luttrell began to build in some different things for him in that game last week, which it didn't look like from a run game perspective. You had it built in the way it needed to be the week before. Then you're South Carolina. That's a bad matchup, by the way, for Oklahoma. Lenore Sellers back this week, by the way, for Ole Miss. Then you're at Ole Miss. Then you have Maine. I hadn't seen that offense. I hadn't seen the tape. Maine. Don't know.
Probably a good offense.
I'll check it.
Mercer's OC's there now.
Then you're at Missouri before you play Alabama. Where will Oklahoma be? I mean, they're 4-1 right now.
They needed that Auburn one badly to salvage any possibility of being in the mix at season's end. And when I say in the mix, I'm talking like in the mix for 8 or 9. I mean, I don't think anyone anticipates them winning the league. They're too limited on offense. They have to get healthy. Until they get healthy, it's impossible to know what they're capable of. They're down their top 5 wide receivers. I don't care what the circumstances are. I mean, you could have Joe Namath back there at quarterback. It's not going to make a difference. You can put, maybe for the modern era, you can put Tom Brady back there, and it's not going to make a difference if you have the top 5 wide receivers that are down.
Yeah, but Baker Mayfield said guys weren't having fun with him. So I don't know if that would work.
Well, they probably weren't. I wasn't having very much fun with Saban either, but guess what? We won. Winning is more fun.
Wasn't it called Joyful Murder Ball? Oh wait, it was Joyless Murder Ball.
Yeah,
oh,
that's kind of
the fun. Mantra. The fun is in the winning. Nothing about being around champions is fun.
Greg, 6 of their last 7 are losable.
Yeah.
Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Missouri, Bama, LSU. Tell me the team that can't get them.
All of them. They can all get them.
Maine.
That's why I didn't miss that one.
Well,
I got to see. I got to check the tape first. I don't know.
Offense could be tricky.
TBD on that one. Where are they? Where are they going to? I mean, it's an interesting thought as to.
They're not bad.
One, I don't think people view Oklahoma as really like a 4-1 team with, a decent loss. Even though you didn't look good in that loss, Tennessee might realistically be one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the nation.
I think Tennessee's top 3 team in the country right now. I wouldn't have them outside the top 3.
Well, so there you go. But people don't view them that way, I don't think.
Tennessee?
No, Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say. Well, Oklahoma's on paper, Oklahoma's better than what their record is going to be this year. Like, Oklahoma's team is more talented than what their final record will be.
Well,
their final record
now.
What's that?
Especially with injuries now.
If they can't get healthy,
be able to get to where your potential is, I don't think.
If they can't get healthy, they will be one of the teams next year that I will buy major stock in the offseason. Because I think that the perception of how they're going to be and how well they've translated all this other stuff is going to be a little bit diluted with the adversity they've experienced this season with injury and the fact that they played an absolute murderer's row.
Yeah.
Give them Texas's schedule and tell me how different that schedule might look.
It's a fair point. I might buy stock in Backyard Adventures. As a dad, I get to sit back and enjoy no ordering online, spending hours of my time putting a playground together. Didn't have to do any of that. They came and put my playground together in my backyard for my kids. They're still on it almost every day. They love to jump, climb, swing, slide on all the different options that they have right there at Backyard Adventures. You can go check theirs out at their place and see exactly what they have in stock. And they've got them put together so the kids can go jump on them. Warranted, great quality work. And if anything happens, they're going to come out and take care of it for you. Jeff and the guys do an amazing job. They put my basketball goal in as well. Son's out there shooting all the time. 408 the number 4 fun. 408 the number 4 fun. Didn't just help me. They helped you as well, G-Mac.
Yeah, it lasts a lifetime too. And I love that there's no work on data. I mean, it's a piece of cake. You get them come out, 100% customizable, 3D designer after your kids test them all out. You got to have little space back there, sure, but they also do birthday parties down there, so you can kind of get a better estimate as to how your family might use it. So go check them out. Backyard Adventures. It's right off Cahaba Valley Road, or you can go online at backyardalabama.com.
All right, when we come back, Trent Dilfer, UAB head football coach, joins the show right after this on Jocks 94.5. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Going to go right to the phones now. Welcome in UAB head football coach Trent Dilfer. Coach, how we doing this morning?
I'm doing as well as could be expected.
Yep. We mentioned that offense that you had to face this weekend yesterday, talking about that a little bit. Actually had the head coach on the show that you're going to be facing this weekend, but that's I don't think people are going to give Navy proper credit for what they're doing and what they are right now, unless they've actually taken a pretty good look at them. I have, and it is they're a handful, and I know that was tough to prepare for. Boys played hard, but now you have to find kind of a way to move on.
Yeah, and you still got to find a way to win. Like, we got to adjust better. They got us some formations. We took care of the dive well. We took care of the quarterback well. Can handle the pitch man. You know, we took care of some things that C-gap quarterback runs, which had been a huge thing for them. And, you know, we eliminated them, but then they got us on screens. Like, they have so many tools in their tool belt. It's almost, the guy's a wizard, OC, you know, and he just kind of toys with you. And if you devote too many resources to one thing, he's got another thing. And they have really talented players. I think that's the other thing that they're not going to get enough credit for is, 24 has elite quickness and speed. The quarterback has elite quickness, speed, power. He's a really good thrower. The fullback is basically a tailback playing fullback. He has tailback skills, and he's huge. Their offensive linemen are stronger and more powerful than they've ever been. So they're very talented offensively as well.
It's been cool to kind of see them evolve a little bit from what they were to what they are now. How much is that the pressure of having to consistently recruit to the Veer for so many years, and now obviously new leadership the last couple of years, and their offense is kind of taking off as a result. And I feel like it's kind of all over the place. Like we're seeing more and more evolution from the academies at both Army and at Air Force. You've seen them evolved beyond just the Veer. So how much more difficult does it become, because they still have those principles, but can beat you in other ways, like off play action and post over concepts and things like that?
Well, think of that. This is how I try to explain it to people. And I was actually talking to my coaches about this before the game. Like, everybody steals everybody. The best coaches are the best thieves, and then the best teachers of what they steal. So Mike Leach develops a concept 15 years ago. People steal it, make it their own, becomes really good. You go on and on and on, right? So it's run game, it's quarterback read run game, it's passing game, it's action game. Well, the academies decided to do the same thing, but they're also experts in the Veer. The rest of us aren't experts in the Veer. So the rest of us are stealing each other's stuff, but we're all running basically the same stuff. The academies now are stealing all the stuff that we do and adding it to the Veer and finding they ran a little bubble concept that I think Alabama started it, say 17, 18, where you kind of have a 1x3 set. People call it a fango, people call it a nub, or whatever, right? So just think tight end left, 3 receivers to the right. And everybody kind of runs a run to the left or throws it out to the right. You kind of split the defense in half. Very basic play now. Everybody knows how to defend. Everybody runs it. They get under center with a wing motion, with a dive option, and run the exact same play, but with triple option. And you're like, that is so smart. Like, they've just taken a base concept that everybody's doing that really splits the defense in half, and now added a more dynamic element in the middle of the field with the dive and the quarterback getting to the edge and possibly pitching to where we would throw it. And so it's nobody practices this. Nobody goes into their spring ball or summer to practice. Here's the other thing. It's the first time he did it. It's the first time he's showing it. So there's no evidence in a 3-game breakdown or his Mercer stuff that he's done that play before. So the first time you're seeing it is in the second series of the first quarter of the game you're playing them, and now you're scrambling on the sideline to fix that. Well, guess what? Then they go to shotgun and run, guard, tackle, quarterback, read with the kick out back into the boundary out of the same set. And you're devoting too many resources to the field, and now they're going for 30 down the boundary. So that's the stuff. It's brilliant. I mean, I think, I was telling Brian Newberry after the game, I'm like, we already decided to study your offense this offseason. We might study it in season now. Like, I want to know how it runs from an offensive coach to maybe incorporate some of this stuff. And I want our defensive coaches to understand what the guy's doing so they can come up with an offseason plan to maybe stop it one day.
Trent Dilfer joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline. Let's turn the page, move forward to this Tulane team. First-year head coach John Sumrall there. They come to your stadium again this weekend, and a team that when you face Sumrall, we know you're going to get a fight. That's it. I mean, the physicality is not going to be of concern. It's going to be something that's going to be there. They're not going to back down from anybody. Willing to play different styles to go win football games. What is the challenge that sticks out to you the most with this Tulane team this year?
Really what you just said. He's a heck of a recruiter too. Willie Fritz took a lot of good players to Houston, and they graduated a lot of good players. So you weren't really sure what Tulane was going to be. He recruited really good players. He values traits. They got length, they got size, heavy-handed players. I think he really went for strength. Guys that play physically strong. especially defensively. They're trying to break your face mask on every play. You know, they play downhill on you. They get off blocks. They're very physical at all three levels. So they represent him. You know, I mean, he's a tough guy. He's a great dude, but just a tough, gnarly, old school, you know, defensive-minded coach, which is a great philosophy. That's a great personality to have. And then offensively, he's comfortable with how his offenses run. Coach Craddock's been with him for a while. He's a run action. You know, he's gonna force you to defend something and then take advantage of whatever you're, again, devoting too many resources to. They did get some really good speed. Mario Williams, the kid they got in the portal, he is beat, road runner, kind of fast and quick. They know how to get him isolated. So they create a ton of explosives, and their quarterback is super talented, like off the charts talented. Still young, you know, still makes some youthful mistakes, and we need to make him do that. But if he gets going, he's going to be tough to stop.
When you look at kind of where your team's at right now and what you'd like to address and what you'd like to improve upon after the first 4 games, you're a third of the way there now. Where can this team continue to grow? I know defensively there's areas where you're wanting to improve for sure. But how do you get those things kind of situated here, knowing that the schedule doesn't lighten up at any point? You still have a lot of tough games right in front of you.
I think there's a couple tiers to that, Greg. I think number one, you're always focused on your culture and your building. And when you have a losing record and when a group's been together and has not experienced a lot of winning, you're kind of drowning in the ocean, right? And there's these lifeboats floating around that you can jump on, but they're floating out to sea. Those lifeboats are things like defensiveness, you know, listening to people that want to tell you it's not your fault, taking the easy road. Like if you wanted to label these little lifeboats, that's what they are. And you can jump in them and have some temporary relief, but they're going to drift you out to sea and you're going to die of dehydration or starvation or whatever, you know, analogy you want to use. Or you can swim against the current and go to a barren island and get on that island together, start digging some ditches and building some houses and, you know, making it fruitful. And that's where we're at. You know, you got to get them to understand that doing the hard thing is the right thing right now. And just because you're not winning doesn't mean you're not going to win. Just because your teenage daughter is not obeying you right now does not mean she's not going to obey you. You know, just because you're not having success in your job right now, even though you're working hard and you haven't got the promotion, doesn't mean it's not coming. Like, you got to believe that something good is coming if you keep doing the right things together. And then we got to do the right things on the field. You know, like we had 3 personal fouls this year that have cost us touchdowns. Think about that. Like, we're in drive-ending situations, and we've extended drives with 3 personal fouls, all on defense, because a guy, you know, pushes you, and you don't have the emotional maturity, and you know, to just let it go. Instead, you react and shove them back, or punch them back, or hit them in the face. Like, that's just losing football. We have third and ones that we're going to convert to continue a drive in the red zone, and we can't get our feet set. Or we have legal procedure by the offensive line on a 3rd and 5 that turns to a 3rd and 10. We've turned the ball over too much, being careless with the football. We've missed wide open opportunities for touchdowns. Like, we're not doing winning things on the field. We're practicing winning things, but we're not doing them on the field. So we got to do them on the field. Coaches, you know, I'm not just putting on the players. Coaches, you know, bad teaching, bad calls in game, like stuff that we should know better. And we're not doing it on the field. So we're not taking good practice habits and making them good game habits. That's not unusual, you know, for that to take a while. It's just taking longer than I expected.
Coach, we always appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend. Look forward to catching up with you next week, talking some more football.
Always appreciate you guys. See ya.
Yes, sir. Trent Dilfer, head coach of the UAB Blazers, joining us there on the Buyers Right Hotline. It's tough. Like he said, Greg, you have to find a way to get comfortable doing the hard things at times like this. And not a lot of guys are down with that. Not a lot of guys want that. And to get them to buy into that, it's not easy. Not an easy task.
I think it's impossible, especially when the proof isn't in the pudding. Like, you have to show progress for the guys to buy in without resisting. I mean, if you know you're going to win, like if you know in your heart of hearts, you know you're going to win, it's pretty easy to do the difficult things. But if you don't know that, well, you have to ask the question, like a lot of these guys seemingly do. You ask the question, why? And that's the modern player. That's the difference between now and the old school is guys did what they were told. Now they ask the question, why? And that's different, but it's a challenge, and hopefully coach will figure it out.
All right, so we'll continue to talk some college football on the other side, but there are a few of you asking for an update on a certain personal situation. As we move further away from the hot weather, you know your HVAC system worked overtime this summer. Make sure you're prepared for the months and years ahead with a Train Comfort system. Right now, Train's Unstoppable event offers you peace of mind with a 10-year warranty on parts and labor with select Train home comfort systems. To learn more, visit train.com, and as you know, it's hard to stop a train. Some of you want an update on the valet situation. We'll give that to you next. Not sure any of you are going to like it, because I know I didn't. Right here on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Some of you tweeting in, Marilyn Gober, we want to hear the conclusion of the valet situation. Wednesday, October 2nd, 7:34 a.m. Before we do that, Greg.
What's his name? Gober?
Marilyn Gober. She.
Oh, Marilyn Gober.
Tell our listeners about Bromberg's before you get yourself in trouble.
I'm not in trouble. I just thought all I heard was Gober, and all I could think about was Goldberg because all my kids are watching right now is Mighty Ducks. So
Well, you might want to play the
front
music
of
when you
mind.
start the segment, by the way. Just
Oh, boy.
Get it ready.
Oh, boy.
What, Mighty Ducks?
No.
I don't know. Anyways, I do know that Bromberg's is amazing. Has had amazing situation every single time I walk in there. Always feel like I'm taken care of. Always feel like their salespeople go above and beyond to make sure I'm getting the piece that might last generations in our family. And right now, you can go get the jewelry, the watches, the giftware, the best in customer service. Don't put it off. We already know coming up here very soon. We already know what's coming. It's the holiday season. You don't want to put it off. Get out in front of it. Be proactive. Get your holiday purchases taken care of before that time comes. So enjoy that luxury shopping experience that you'll only find in Bromberg's. It's the oldest firm in the state and the nation's oldest family-owned and operated retailer. They're in 2 locations, Mount Brook Village and the Summit, or you can shop online at brombergs.com.
EZ at EasyWood7 tweets in at Mac and Cube. Dog, I'm here for all the ball talk, but at Cole Cubelic, don't leave us hanging on the valet story.
Ooh.
Okay, so yesterday after show, I went home and my wife and I went out to the airport. She specifically said, I would like to be here with you for this.
Good thinking.
I was like, just drop me off. I'll be okay. She's like, no. She's like, I'm just going to hang out while you go talk to him. And she gave me like the 17-minute pep talk the entire way of kill people with kindness. There's no reason to be mean. There's no reason to be mad. I said, listen, I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
I said, I'm to the point now, I really don't even want to play tricks or like try to make them search or anything. I said, I want my car and I honestly don't feel like I should have to pay for this. And she said, that's fair. I think that's totally fair. And I said, honestly, if it's up on the upper deck up there by where you drop it off,
Yeah.
I might just get in it and go.
Snag.
Like there might not even really be a reason to talk about it. So we pull up and she drops me off and I said, bad news. It's not up there. And I said, so that means they have it somewhere, which means I have to go through them to get it. And I have a feeling how this is now going to go. She's like, just stay calm. Just stay calm. I was like, I'm calm.
Yeah.
I said, there's one thing that is going to prevent me from staying calm. And she said, what is that? I said, they asked me to pay for this. We're going to have a problem. And she's like, I fully understand. I'm with you on that. We're on the same page. So I get out, young man. Hey, how can I help you? And I actually left the ticket in my bag, but I always take a picture of it. And so I pull the picture out. I said, hey, I need to pick up my car, please. And he goes, oh, you got the picture on your phone? I said, yeah. He starts looking. And he's looking.
Oh, boy.
And he's looking. And he's filing. He's got the cabinet open.
So the cabinet's open.
The keys are clanging.
I think at this point he's nervous.
And he's looking. Not yet, because it's only about 3 minutes in. When I
Gotcha.
got to about 7 minutes in,
You still didn't tell him that you had the keys?
I just pulled my keys up and I held them and I said, you're not going to find them because I have them. And all 3 of them stopped what they were doing and just looked at me.
Yeah. Like you had how many heads?
7. And he said,
1 for every minute they looked for keys that didn't exist.
and he says, you have the keys to your car? And I said, right here. And he turns around and looked at the other guy. And the third guy looks at the second guy. And the first guy looks at the third guy. And the second guy looks back at the first guy. I mean, it's just like the Spider-Man gif, sort of like, Basically, it was like, who's going to do something about this?
Yeah.
Right.
And I
Who
said,
gave him the keys? Which one
said,
of you did
so
it?
I said, you guys can either point me to where it is and I'll just go get it. Or if it's at a place that I don't have access to, y'all can go grab it for me. And they said, but how did you get the keys? I said, honestly, I don't really feel like that's important. I said, I have the keys to my vehicle, which I left in your hands, keys and vehicle. I should not have these, but I do. I said, so would you guys like to go get it? Or would you like to tell me where it is and I'll just go get it? Well, it's in, and then they start looking at the piece of paper that was on the keys. He's like, oh, who was that? Was it Lorenzo? No. It was so-and-so. And I was like, it doesn't matter who did it. It doesn't matter. I said, I have the keys. You have the car. How do we work this out?
Oh, boy.
I'll go get it.
Yeah, you will.
Give him keys. The guy was very polite.
I'm sure he was.
He was very apologetic.
I bet he was. I would be
And
too.
I had to repeatedly tell myself, this young man probably didn't do this.
No.
Right.
Definitely not his fault.
Now, Also, I think probably specifically just by age, I quickly came to the conclusion that this guy also probably not decision maker here that can make certain things happen.
Okay.
So I had to have that conversation with myself.
Yes.
Because once you realize that, you realize he can't really help you with anything.
Yeah, right.
And that's where we were. So we wait and we wait. And I'm kind of like, is he going to bring this up?
Yeah.
Am I going to bring this up? Who's going to bring this up? When are we going to bring it? We know what we all are here.
We know where we're
trying
going
to do.
to.
Much, right?
Let's just cut to the chase here, fellas.
Waiting to hit the music.
So car pulls up and he says, actually before car pulls up, he said, there was another guy and they took care of his deal or whatever. And he says, all right, I'm just gonna get you rung up here.
Let me get you taken care
And I
of.
looked at him and I said, for what?
Rung up for what? I'm going to ring you up.
He said, for your vehicle. Keep in mind, we haven't even had a discussion about the keys.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, my vehicle. I said, so I'm being charged for leaving it in your possession. He said, correct. I said, what about the keys? He said, yeah, how did you get those keys? And I just kind of thought to myself, wouldn't you like to know? I said, and I did not do the double finger point. And I said, wouldn't you like to know?
You need to learn.
No wind horse.
What if I told you that a random lady via a social media platform messaged my spouse and told her she had said keys in her possession via her cup holder of her vehicle after leaving it in your possession?
Hmm.
No, that couldn't happen.
No chance.
Did happen. I said, here's a screenshot of the message with the picture of the keys if you'd like to see that.
Amazed.
I'm so sorry about that. I apologize. I said, yeah, listen, mistakes happen. I said, mistakes happen. I said, and I'm sure it wasn't your fault.
Might have been.
Don't know.
Could have been. I can promise you wasn't taking responsibility, though.
But that'll be $90, sir.
Yes, sir.
It was 97, actually.
Do you want to leave a tip?
He didn't ask.
He didn't?
And I'm telling you, that is what probably would have had me kick the desk over. He didn't ask.
Why didn't he
They
ask?
didn't get one.
He needed to ask. I would have asked.
I was waiting on it, Greg, because you know that's the routine.
100%.
And I usually give him one, and it's not a problem. But I was like, he's going to ask for a tip. Holy mother, he's going to ask. So he didn't. And I said, let's just be real here for 1 second. You want me to pay you for losing my keys and essentially allowing another individual to have possession of them? Well, she couldn't have gotten your car. I said, duh.
No one said that.
Yeah.
Did have keys to car, though. Thankfully, did not have keys to my home on
Right.
keys with car. Could have gotten in here, by the way.
I want to know.
He said, I can't, there's nothing I can do. I can't take this out. I said, would you even have record of my vehicle being here without my keys and the barcode that's on the tab? Well, no. I said, so you technically don't have it. So there's nothing to retroactively take out. Just go get my car.
Just get my car. That's it, Parts.
I have to charge. I can't miss a minute. I said, are you the manager? No. Can I speak to manager? She's not here. He calls. He calls again.
Oh,
he
boy.
calls again.
Oh,
manager,
boy.
obviously very busy.
Yeah, makes sense.
A lot of things happening.
There are a lot
for
of
the
cars at the
manager
airport.
at 11:20 in the morning.
It's a busy time of day. That's for the rush.
So then he gives me the total,
Lunch rush.
97, whatever it was. And I said, let me just clarify one thing here really quick. I had to Uber home because the keys were at my house and I didn't have access to my car because you lost my keys. There's also an extra day on there that you're charging me for that is there because I couldn't get. Now it starts to get.
Here we go.
Right. Yep.
And I said, you know what?
He too far gone.
I said, I'm not going to. I said, please write the manager's phone number down. Well, we have two. Write them both down. Got both managers' phone numbers. Paid it. I don't know what we're going to do next.
Do you need to know at this point?
But it was to a point where I was like,
it feels like it's over at this point.
well, it was either going to get really ugly and they had my car.
Yeah.
What do you do? Because it had a little thing on the tab of like what lot it was in. So it's obviously back somewhere where I can't get to it. So what do you do?
Not sure.
I mean, we're going to have more conversations about the 97.
Yeah, we're not done with this yet.
Which will be reimbursed, so it's not like it's a huge deal.
That's not a big deal. That's
It is
nothing.
the principle. The principle of it is beyond unfortunate. So there you go.
I don't really understand why. I'm still trying to figure out why.
This is the same thing in the fast food place when they forget to give you your fries and they didn't charge them for you. It's like, it's not your money.
Right.
Give me the fries.
Yeah.
Like, this kid doesn't own Birmingham Airport Valet. Give me my car.
You never know, though.
It's not your money. Justin Hokanson joins us next. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 7:49 a.m. Wednesday, October 2nd, right here on Jocks 94.5.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year. Take the short drive to Coleman. You see what I'm talking about. You see the deals on the lot. You can't beat them. You won't find better deals anywhere. You take the short drive to Coleman. Go see Andy Cole. Go see Jonathan Yeager. You go get yourself a GMC Sierra that's more than $12,500 off. That's a type of deal that keep you coming back to why 75% of their business is repeat customers, because you're going to get 20% off in some cases a brand new GMC Sierra. Some places can't even get vehicles that are as stocked as these. So you're literally costing yourself money if you don't shop at Bill Smith Buick GMC. Take the short shot to Coleman. Be glad you did. You can also shop online. Have it delivered right to your driveway at BillsmithBuickGMC.com.
I saw that Justin Hokanson with the On3 Sports Network, Auburn Live, had a conversation with Peyton Thorne about his interception that led to a touchdown for Kip Lewis. And since we spent so much time discussing it yesterday and taking people inside the X's and O's, I wanted to get Justin to share what he got from Peyton Thorne. Justin, appreciate you taking some time to join us. A little behind because I had to finish sharing my valet story from the airport. But nonetheless, what did Peyton Thorne share with you about how this pick six happened against Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, he pretty much took us through the entire play, which is fun when a player or a coach really kind of dives into every single specific. And, you know, when he describes him doing that 10 out of 10, what he's saying is based on the play that was called, based on the way the defense aligned, and even based on the way the defense initially reacted, everything was basically going to script. In other words, they didn't have a back in the backfield. The blitzer blitzed. His eyes go to the blitzer. As soon as the guy blitzes, his eyes then leave that man and go to the receiver because the receiver had a route where he could run inside or outside. So as soon as he sees the blitzing linebacker, his eyes go to his receiver to see what his guy's going to do inside or outside. As soon as he breaks inside, he's throwing the ball. And basically what he was saying was, I can't have my eyes in two different places. I can't look at the receiver and watch the route and also be looking at the linebacker to see if he's going to potentially bail from his blitz. He's also got an end that's rushing free that's his man. And that happens a lot, by the way. They set the protection. He sets the protection left, so he knows that I can see the blitzer the whole time. So that guy was accounted for because Peyton knew he was coming and knew he needed to get rid of the ball. So that blitzer really wasn't going to get to Peyton. And so that's just pretty much what he described was, I can't see two things at once. The guy blitzed, and as soon as he does that, my eyes go to Sam Jackson, and I'm seeing which route he's going to run. I deliver the football. That guy happens to bail. And it's a fair point. Like, it's a tough play, but you're right. If everything he was reading till literally a split second before he throws the ball looked correct, and then in that split second, as soon as he drops back, everything changes. But at that point, the ball is basically being released.
Well, the play was run the week before, so it shouldn't have been the answer anyways, but it's a conversation for a different day. You can't run the same blitz beater 2 weeks in a row. Not in the SEC. You get smoked. All things considered, though, I thought it was a good performance from Peyton. Really did. I thought he played well. I think the running game is still, I think, a pretty good spot. And I think against that defense, like, you got to feel decent about what the offense did. So I think I hate to have moral victories, and I know you're 2-3 sitting there after 5 games, but I feel like this team's best football is in front of them, especially with the mess that they made of the quarterback situation that they didn't need to make after the Cal game. So is it fair to assume that they're trending in the right direction?
I think based on what you saw Saturday, that's fair. And yeah, I understand. Even Peyton said after Saturday's game, like, I'm kind of over silver linings. But you got to look for something. I mean, you're 2-3, you're 0-2. You got to try to build on something. And so, yeah, I thought they played their best game of the year on Saturday. I mean, if they had a 4th and 1 that they failed on their first possession, they missed a field goal at the end of half. Like, that game should not have been in question. Even with the pick six, Auburn still should have had a cushion to absorb that mistake. They should have won the game regardless. So, I thought they played really well for 50 minutes. I thought they played really well, and then it just kind of went downhill. So even third down conversions, I think they held Oklahoma for 2 for 10. That was something they've been struggling with on defense. So they just gotta. The question is, can they build on it? Like, the question is, we've seen flashes last year and this year of an offense being able to do some things. Georgia and Alabama, like, there are flashes of it looking good. Can they produce consistency? How do they produce consistency? How can they execute over and over again? I think one of the things they did against Oklahoma offensively that I really liked watching it in real time was they slowed it down and they got in a huddle, and it allowed, Peyton talked about it yesterday. Yeah, getting that play earlier and being able to get out there and get his eyes on the safeties earlier, even getting the play in and being able to look at the play clock and have control of when he's going to break the huddle. It felt like you put Peyton in a lot more control by slowing it down a little bit more. The tempo looked great. And I think that's something they probably need to keep doing. I know he wants to run fast. At times, maybe you can, but I thought slowing it down a little bit allowing him to sort of gather his thoughts, get the play call, go out there. I thought that really worked for them. And so we'll see if they can kind of continue to do that. Defensively, they played really well. They still give up a few big plays. But I thought they took some strides. So yeah, you got to try to build on something. I thought they played well. Try to build on that. It's hard to take that and then say, all right, go build on that at Georgia. That's a tough task.
Justin, I saw you share a quote from Hugh Freeze and said that you thought it was a fair assessment. There's a lot of what he has been said recently that is not going over well with the Auburn fans. What's the temperature of the fan base with some of what Hugh Freeze has said, let's just say over the last 2 weeks?
Oh, well, I think it's better today because, yeah, I think to Hugh's credit, like he wants to be really transparent, and I can appreciate that. It's just when you do that, it can get a little dicey unless you give all the details. It can get dicey. And so I thought yesterday he was fair in saying it was coaches, it was players. I understand wins only matter. I just thought it was a really fair assessment overall, and I think fans have toned it down a little bit from maybe 2 weeks ago. But it's not great, I would say, in terms of the temperature of where fans are in general.
Yeah. Justin, I'm sorry our visit was a little short today. I went long on our valet story, and I apologize for that. It's my fault. But thanks for hopping on and sharing that with us today.
You got it. See you guys.
All right, Justin Hokanson, Auburn Live on 3 Sports Network. Find his work there. Does a great job covering the Auburn Tigers. And read the article about his conversation with Peyton Thorne. It's a good read. It's cool, especially if you listened to the show yesterday. It just adds a little extra context to how it was seen from a different spot. Back with more Mac and Cube talking SEC football next. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Do we have feedback from the valet story, Damien? I don't know if people think that I kind of wussed out on that or.
Big time.
Yeah,
There's no thinking.
We got a few.
Soft.
Somebody said if I would have took my wife, I would have had my car and 6 more other cars.
You'd have needed some other friends, too.
Soft.
Tommy from Trustful says, I can see it coming. Hi, I'm Cole Cubelic, and when I travel, I leave my truck in the safe and secure hands of BM Airport Valet.
Not anymore. We don't. Not anymore. We don't.
There's one that said you.
That was also part of the conversation, Greg, on the way out there. She said, now listen, if you're going to continue to valet, you probably need to think about how you're going to
handle this.
Yeah.
I was like, no, Greg's got me convinced hourly's the way to go.
Hourly. Let's go.
I'll take the 9 steps. Damn it.
Heaven forbid, Cole. All right, I don't want to go down the stairs. It's so much better.
You're getting some kudos for handling it gracefully, though.
No.
Thank you, somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you want me to do outside of Greg, who thinks I should have gone, Incredible Hulk?
You know how big I used to be. You know how many people's faces I smashed.
It's
I had the strongest bench press on the team at one time.
Yeah. I'd put up a Rick Trickett. I could take you.
That's also fair. I don't know. I don't know where folks wanted me to go there. It was I felt like this is either going to spiral out of control or just get out of here now. That was my thought process. So I felt like we walk away.
Yeah. And
we will try to recoup funds another day, which probably won't happen.
But you had good reason to, though. Like if you would have went red ass cold, it would have been obliged.
Well, there may be. I mean, there's still a certain strategy that's available here. I mean, I've laid the foundation for maybe what people should or shouldn't do, but we've yet to go full force campaign against what I don't believe you should ever do when you visit said establishment. And we can do that. We can go there, but we'll wait to see how things are handled.
Well, you never have to wait for your dental care.
Do you not?
Not today. It's on the list.
Someone's on it.
Got him.
Lock in.
I just feel like you kind of wimped out. That's all I think. If I were you, I would have stolen a plane and driven the plane onto the valet, tossed the keys of the plane to the guy, said, "Park this."
You know what I should have done is call Crocker Moving Services and say, "Just go get my truck for me."
No,
move it right to my house.
No, they could do that.
I don't know if they can get the code. As the guy called yesterday, said you're going to get arrested for stealing your own car.
An Iraq War veteran can get in the Birmingham Airport valet chain link fence. He'd be fine.
We do need to support our veterans. That is accurate. And you can do so by using our friends at Crocker Moving Services. They're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movies you can trust, complete full background checks, and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. They had your whole home packed up, move your home to headquarters, move across the country, or need them to come steal your car out of the valet lot. They can do it. Maybe. They also do deliveries for furniture that you purchase to get your home. So they can definitely deliver your car. They can do that for sure. Call them today for a free quote. The website's crockermovingservices.com. That's crockermovingservices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Services for your next move.
Josh wants to discuss valet and more. Welcome in, Josh.
I appreciate it. War Eagle, Cole.
War Eagle. I don't know what's worse, valet or Auburn offense right now.
Who's softer, Auburn's offensive line or Cole at the valet?
Me.
Yeah, it's got to be Cole. It's got to be Cole.
Auburn's offensive line actually showed me a little something last week. I feel pretty good about that group moving forward.
Exactly. I saw improvement. Yes, I saw improvement. I don't see improvement in this story.
No, it's rock bottom.
Yes.
When you're a beta,
However,
you're a beta.
That's right.
I don't have that little tattoo on my ankle, though. That's not me.
That's a fraternity, but yes, appropriate.
So I do agree with Greg to an extent that I do feel that you went a little light on them, but you went a little light on them because you gave them control when you asked them or when you told them to go get your car.
Well said.
At that point, you had no option other than to, okay, I'm going to pay this, but you'll be hearing from me again.
It's
you know
fair.
what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I will say this. My wife wanted me to drag it out. She's like, don't tell them you have your keys. Just see how long it can go. make
That's
him
a great
sweat.
use of time.
That was my point. My point was I'm over this.
I got film to watch.
Yeah, I was like, I'm over
Right.
this.
I hadn't
I'm ready
watched
to get
Vandy Bama from 2016 yet. I got that on my list today.
I just want to get my car back. Is all I was worried about.
Exactly. So I'm on both sides of the fence. I mean, I would have probably done the same thing that you did, Cole, but I was on pins and needles.
Here's the thing. Like, I think all of us are big talkers. Let's just be real. Okay. All of us are big talkers. I know I'm a big talker here in this situation because I know had this happened to me, I would have gone to valet and I would have had this big grand plan of undressing the guy that was helping me out. And then I would have wimped out within about 2 seconds because I would have acknowledged that it's probably not the guy's fault that my car keys were left in the car, someone else's car. And then I would double down and thinking, you know what, if I were one of these valet guys, I would probably do that at some point or another. So I think that while it's easy to give Cole a hard time today, I think if the shoe was on the other foot and if it were me that were in this situation, I probably would have handled it the same way.
I honestly don't care if anybody gives me a hard time.
You're still soft.
Sure.
Greg's just acknowledging that softness.
I'm acknowledging I'm already known for my softness. You at least had this rough, gruff exterior that we now realize as we've peeled back the onion, you're actually just a little jelly bean. That's what it is.
A jelly bean.
I don't even know what to say to that. P-Mart tweets in, did valet at Birmingham Airport recently for Bama, Wisconsin game. Got back at 12:30 a.m. They, quote, couldn't find my car. Came back several times saying, still can't find it. Took them over an hour.
That's a problem.
Where's your car, dude?
That's why you don't go there anymore, right?
Yeah, it's same exact situation. Coming home from Charlotte, late flight, similar to the one Cole takes every week. No car. Done, son. See ya. Hourly.
Never again.
Ever.
Ever.
Forever.
Can't do it anymore.
Can't do it. Won't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel like that there was a way to. There was no good that was going to come out of it. So, we got the number. We'll see where it goes. And unfortunately for us, we have an employee here who is friendly with a former employee there. And that conversation has led to, you're probably not getting anything out of this anyway. So.
Was it the employee of the month that is friends with the employee of the month over there?
Definitely not.
No, it's not Damien. We were just going out on
Y'all know Damien was employee of the month, right, everybody?
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Hey, appreciate y'all.
Got his picture and everything when you walk in.
I'm not clapping.
Thank you.
Do we have a list of achievements that get you there?
I want to know what
Like when
boxes
you
have to check
when you
in
get,
order to
when
be
you get
eligible.
SEC Player of the Week, underneath it says like 18 for 22, 324 yards, two passing touchdowns,
What's the stats?
led team to win at number 7, Ole Miss or whatever it was.
Correct.
I want to know what.
I'll tell you what Damien's was. Damien's was 87% attendance.
Thanks to Countdown to Kickoff, he uses the podcast studio.
Almost accounted
There
for
you go.
90% of time.
Using the podcast studio is a big leg up.
Correct, yes.
One of 3 now.
Bill Clark's going to get employee of the month next month.
This is brutal.
What?
This is brutal. But no, all I did was work. I grind. That's what I won.
That's it. That's the only thing.
That's all I did, man. Grind.
And the best part is he didn't believe me. I told him last month in that meeting, I was like, you're winning next month. Ain't no way.
I know. He probably
Okay.
said, I wasn't even here 90% of the time.
I don't know. I don't know. But I do take it with stride. Add it to my resume.
Yeah, put that on there.
That on the resume. September 20.
Shows up in Soho every week, hangs out with Don willingly.
Oh, you know what? That's what you got it for going to the game with Don.
That's sure.
Listener
War
experience.
And listener viewing parties. Attending those.
And surviving. Not ending up on Dateline.
Yeah.
Fair. I'll chalk that up as an accomplishment.
I gotta cut it out, man. Some stuff we gotta keep in house, dog.
Oh, you kept it in house.
By the way, how was that new chicken sandwich, by the way?
That's pretty good.
Okay.
You said you kept it in. All right. I had a segment.
Y'all are something else, man.
I had a topic planned here that I wanted to get to.
We have time for that.
I think we're going to push it to the next segment. Did you hear? Did you hear what Lincoln Riley said, G-Mac?
Nah. What did he say?
Now that something has affected him, he wants rules changed. This was Lincoln Riley yesterday, I believe, after practice, discussing a rule that he would like to see altered moving forward.
Yeah, I think guys should have 5 years. Do whatever you want, play as much as you want or as little as you want, and the only way you get an extra one is if you have 2 season-ending injuries where you miss the whole season. I think it should be that plain and simple and be done, and then nobody have to worry about all this other crap about how many games you played and all that. But I understand why it's there, but I still think it's a little bit behind the times.
This rule was changed, 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Redshirting in general
is behind the times?
I think so. And I understand where he's coming from. I actually have kind of said the same thing. And it's to create fairness, and it dates back to when the freshmen weren't eligible and all this other stuff. Like some teams, they would potentially have 85 guys available to play. Redshirting at least gives some of the developmental programs a chance, I think, in some cases. So I think the redshirting thing is dated. So I've been saying this for years. 5 years, call it a day. Let's just make it simple and quit messing around.
There are a lot of people that are saying that they would like to see it go that direction, and that would make things easier. What I have not given thought to is then how would that be taken advantage of? Because there would be something somewhere, somehow, some way. 2 season-ending injuries, he says, to get 1 year back. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Seems reasonable to me.
But I think that when the NCAA makes those decisions, they also take into consideration when those injuries occurred.
Yeah, it's usually like the first
if they
half
have in
of the
week
season.
11, they're probably like, yeah, we're probably not going to give you a whole nother year.
Right.
Week 2, yeah. Like it's
for sure.
Like Blake Shapen, the folks at Mississippi State think he's going to get his year back.
He will.
He missed the majority of the season.
Yeah, he got hurt, week 3?
Yeah, that would make sense.
For sure.
Alabama gets Vanderbilt this weekend, right?
Correct.
Former Vanderbilt wide receiver Will Shepard was asked after the game with Colorado's win against UCF if that was one of the more complete wins he's ever had in his career.
I mean, if y'all know where I came from, Vanderbilt, that's the most complete win I've had.
Dang, got him.
He ain't lying.
Did he have to say complete? Could have just said win.
Wow, qualifier.
I mean, I actually feel
There's
like
your open.
I actually feel like the Vanderbilt teams he played on were more balanced than this team.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe so.
This Vandy team's not bad.
Not this one, but I'm saying he played on some, like he's saying complete win.
Are you talking like a couple years ago?
Well, no, but he's saying that the Vanderbilt teams he played on weren't complete teams, or they didn't get complete wins. What, were they dominated on offense?
I don't know.
I don't know.
All I know is that winning is not something that is a foregone conclusion for the Vandy faithful. So I can get on board.
It felt a little bit unnecessary. I'll say that.
It did.
Chip Kelly asked, what's the biggest difference between a head coach and now just an offensive coordinator?
You can go to the bathroom between series if you have to. It's about the only difference, I think. It's always kind of tough. Coach Coop can tell you that on the sideline. It'd be really difficult to say, hey, I'm going to leave, you know what I mean? But there's a bathroom upstairs by the booth, so if need be.
I feel like recruiting probably a little bit different.
Yes.
Conversations with players probably a little bit different. How many, what they're about, different things of that nature. But yeah, either way.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys that I want you to think about. Whatever your first tier of SEC teams are, second tier of SEC teams are, what teams are closer to 1 or 2? For example, let me ask you this before we go to break. Tennessee closer to Alabama, Texas, Georgia, or Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss? Ole Miss closer to Alabama, Texas, Georgia, or Tennessee, Missouri, LSU? We'll have that conversation next on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Wednesday, October 2nd, 8:18, right here on Jocks 94.5.
Let me tell you about my buddy Ben Henning of the Beham Realty Group. If you think about selling your home, and when it comes to selling, you only want excellence, give my buddy Ben a call, 205-568-2705, or go to BehamRealtyCo.com. If you're struggling to get your house sold because the markets are changing every single day, you need an expert that focuses on adapting at half the time to make sure you and your team come out on top. That's my buddy Ben Henning of the Beham Realty Group. You can visit their website at BehamRealtyCo.com or give them a call at 205-568-2705.
All right, quickly, yesterday, we did have Major League Baseball playoffs, and I'll just say this. There's a lot better, like any football game, honestly, but like daytime postseason baseball is just awesome.
It is fun.
Except for any football game.
I just said that.
That's what I mean. That's what you said. I think it's hilarious. It's awesome. I love it, except for any time football's on.
Yeah, I mean, football would have taken precedent.
Postseason baseball is still probably better than some football.
But I was pretty dialed in yesterday. Not like sitting there watching everything, but like kids want to hit some baseball in the backyard. We had it on outside, come in, getting dinner ready, had it on. Like, it's a cool day to have it kind of going all day too. And yesterday, Tigers take out the Astros 3-1. Jose Altuve, by the way, 118th postseason hit. That's third all time.
Third ever.
You might want to take a shot at who's 1 and 2?
Postseason hits.
Correct.
Double duty.
I'm going to say like
Davenport?
Lou Gehrig.
Babe Ruth.
Absolutely not.
I'll say
Bernie Williams second.
Okay.
So they're definitely Yankees. It's not Derek Jeter.
Number 1 all time.
Ugh.
Really?
200 postseason hits.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Look how many games he played.
He got it all the time. That was when they had the wild card.
Get your team in. You can get some of those hits.
Oh.
Royals take down the Orioles 1-0. Your boy was on that call, by the way, yesterday.
Yeah.
McDonough. He did a good job.
Good. He better have.
First shutout postseason win in franchise history for the Royals. Also the first 1-0 win in postseason history for the Kansas City Royals franchise. Mets take out the Brewers 8-4. That was after going down early too. Mets battled back. And a little bit of lesson there, like you don't have to yank your pitcher just because he struggles in the first or second inning. Like you can let him battle a little bit, and it worked out for the Mets yesterday. And then finally, the Padres take out the Braves 4-0 yesterday. The Padres are the first team in Major League Baseball history to record a shutout while throwing 15 strikeouts and walking no one. Michael King, 7 innings, no earned runs, 12 strikeouts. 5th pitcher in Major League Baseball history with 10 or more Ks, no walks, no runs allowed in a postseason game.
Are you at all
5th ever.
Are you sad for Braves fans that started to become Braves fans yesterday?
That Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a home run yesterday? No.
They became Braves fans yesterday, and they could just have the shortest fandom ever in just 2 days of fandom this year.
Maybe that's why he's wearing the Padres hat to show him what a real team is.
15 strikeouts.
All, I don't like the Padres. They eliminated us
yesterday for the Braves. So. Most in a 9-inning postseason game in franchise history.
But it's Choptober.
Braves have scored 3 runs over their last 3 postseason games. All L's. All right, moving on to SEC football. We do have more postseason baseball today, by the way. Detroit at Houston, 1:30 ABC. Kansas City's at Baltimore, 3:30 ESPN. Mets at Brewers, 6:30 ESPN. Braves at Padres, 7:30 ESPN2. Max Fried going to go against Joe Musgrove. All right, so I asked a question
before. Think Max Fried can get it done for him to extend the fandom at least another day?
He's had a good year. He's had a really good year. No Chris Sale hurts. I mean, because
it does.
He's been dominant this year. He's been really good. So, but we'll see. San Diego is the hottest team in baseball since the All-Star break. That's real. You look at me like I'm crazy, but that's
fine. I'm glad you like them. That's cool. I'm a Dodger fan. I don't care or respect San Diego.
I don't feel like there's any reason to be disrespectful.
The only thing good out of San Diego is Ron Burgundy.
Well, you saw how that ended. Alabama, Texas, Georgia. Would they be?
I didn't watch Anchorman 2.
Would they be alone in your tier 1 of the SEC right now?
No, Tennessee.
Tennessee would be there. So for now, let's put Tennessee there.
Yes.
Ole Miss closer to Alabama, Texas, Georgia, or Missouri, LSU, we'll say Oklahoma would then be in that category.
Closer to tier 2. They are tier 2. They're right in the middle of it.
LSU, Damian, where are you on Ole Miss? Closer to Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, or Missouri, LSU, Oklahoma?
Missouri, LSU, Oklahoma.
John?
Oh, yeah, they're smack in the middle of tier 2.
Okay.
If not near the bottom.
If we took LSU, closer to Bama, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, or closer to Missouri, Ole Miss, Oklahoma? LSU. Where do you view? How
I
do you
think
view
LSU's
right now?
ceiling and where I think they might grow to, I think it's closer to the top.
But they're not there right this second.
No.
Okay. Damian?
Not yet.
No. John?
I think closer to tier 2, but I think they're at the top of it, and they can reach tier 1, but right now, tier 2.
Though they can reach tier 1 with a win over Ole Miss. Because then you're looking at a pretty good spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at what they have coming up. Like, okay, yeah, you got A&M. You got some tough games coming up. You got Oklahoma. I like them against A&M and Oklahoma right now, personally. You got Ole Miss at your place. You got Bama at your place. Like, we're going to learn all we need to learn about LSU in the next month. And guess what? The Arkansas game is no picnic.
No.
I mean, that's a
for
tough
the Golden
game.
Boot.
Yep.
Been told that that's a heavy trophy.
Giant trinket.
Yeah. I've been told that one's heavy. So I look at LSU and think that they have really high ceiling, but I also think they could be a team that finishes 8-4.
It's an interesting schedule, like you said, Greg.
It is.
You get Ole Miss Saturday night at Arkansas, at A&M, Alabama at home. You're at Florida. We know that game's been weird for a lot of years now. I mean, regardless of either side. Vandy at home, and then Oklahoma to close it out at your place. It's some winnable games, seemingly some losable games. And I think you got the perfect sort of taste of what LSU is against South Alabama. And I know it's not the opponent that you want to necessarily measure them against, but you may have found your running back. You got the downhill run game going a little bit more, so maybe that can be there. You see what Kyron Lacey can do. You know what Mason Taylor is. Now you have your slot receivers in a couple different guys that I think can work the middle of the field there. But then also your quarterback's going to throw the ball to the other team every now and then.
Yeah.
Like he's just going to his first interception, it was about as bad as Carson Beck's interception out in the flat. It just, I don't know who it was to. So, well, he
Coach Kelly addressed it though. He addressed it.
I mean, it's inexplicable. But I just think that's kind of you have to.
That's who he is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It is what it is. That's just the way things are going to go.
All right, Missouri. Are they closer to Bama, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee?
Are you sure you don't have them past all those teams?
I do not. Actually, I had them at number 5 in my SEC Power Rankings on Read and React Monday night. Thanks for watching.
Told you, it's the only show. This is the first one I haven't watched.
Are they closer?
I told you I was traveling.
Are they closer to those teams, or are they closer to LSU, Ole Miss, Oklahoma in Tier 2?
If LSU played Missouri right now, I'm taking LSU. Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm taking A&M this weekend. I look at a few others. I mean, shoot. I think Missouri's like 6th or 7th in the SEC at best. Ole Miss, I think, is a toss-up. Slight lean Mizzou, but don't feel great about it.
Okay, so A&M, where do they belong here? Do they belong with Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, or are they closer to Bama, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee? There's no way they can be closer to Tier 1.
No.
Not closer to Tier 1, but they're not too bad. I mean, I don't think they're closer to Tier 1, no. I would put them Tier 2, like dead square in the middle. My question is, how big is Tier 2?
If you're placing Tennessee on Tier 1.
Yes, I am.
Bama, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee.
That's
you draw
done.
the line there. Okay.
Yes.
Tier 2 for me is going to be Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss, and then I'm probably drawing another line, and then I'm going to have A&M and Oklahoma, and then I'm going to draw another line, and I'm going to have South Carolina and Arkansas. And then I'm going to draw another line, and I'm going to have Mississippi State, Auburn, Vandy, Florida. I think there is separation with South Carolina and Arkansas, mainly because of playmakers. And Florida's offense doesn't allow its playmakers to really do the things that those two teams do. Now, they need Lenore Sellers in the game, but that defense can get them there. Arkansas, Quinton Jackson, Taylon Green, even on defense, Landon Jackson, Xavier Sorey, they have playmakers over there. I'll put them a nod ahead of State, Auburn, and Vandy's even should be down there. But overall, I'll have them on that tier. And then I think a small step ahead is going to be A&M and Oklahoma, because all these receivers are out. A new quarterback that's going to continue, I think, to get better. We know they can lean on the defense, although you just told us in the break the defense is ranked what, 48th?
48th.
That's surprising.
I was surprised by that as well.
I'd like to see snaps on field. I bet they've been on the field a lot.
Yards per play?
Or just, I just feel like they probably.
We can probably find that. Hang on. Let's see if I can find that for you. You want me to find that for you?
A&M, Oklahoma, I would kind of have by themselves. And then my tier 2 would be Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss, A&M.
Where's Kentucky?
That's a great catch by you that I left out. I would probably have Kentucky in the, right now, man, they are teetering on that A&M, Oklahoma tier, South Carolina, Arkansas tier. Because of their age, I would probably, let's be real. The main thing holding them back is quarterback consistency, I think. If Vandergrift can kind of just find his way, and he doesn't need to throw for 450 a game, if he can just be more consistent and keep them on the field and make a little bit better decisions. Now, he gets them out of some stuff. I will totally say that. Yes. But if he can find a way to be a little more consistent, and he and Bush Hamden can get on the same page a little bit more, they've got playmakers.
I like Vandegrift.
I think the offensive line's getting a little better.
I think Vandegrift's good.
It's a lot tougher than I thought, too.
Oklahoma, 4.78, 34th.
Okay, so a little better.
Yeah, not bad. Vandegrift's just a baller. Like, he's Sam Ellinger. That's what I've been calling him. Like, that's what he is. He's tough. He's athletic.
Mobile.
He can give you a little something in the run game. Like, he's not afraid to lower his shoulder. Like, I think he's a great locker room guy. I think he's adequate thrower. I don't think he's elite thrower. So I think Vandegrift is really underrated. And he's a glue guy. That's kind of what he is. Not a freak, but very, very solid guy that you would absolutely want on your team.
All right. We'll continue this conversation on the other side. We did get a couple of other folks chiming in on the valet situation. Who Dat for Life, Chris Fields tweets in at Mac and Cube. Damien Employee of the Month. What do he do so special? Exist?
Ain't been nothing but a winner.
He's really good at politics.
You are collecting plaques back there. You had what's the other plaque you got?
Let's not bring that one up.
Future African American leader, rising star, something to that effect from 22.
Why are you that's
from 22?
You won that award.
Yeah,
why
22.
would you not want to talk about that? Like, you're talking about building your resume.
Because I have to put I wish I could put it in my office.
Maybe you'll get one after this.
Damn, Haney, he just did that to you.
It ain't Haney.
Yeah.
It ain't Haney.
Why do you need an office?
Also,
hang up all my awards.
Wow.
You can have my office.
He's already splitting one.
We'll get you a trophy wing in ours. Robert Montgomery tweets in, I don't care. I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't even know what it is. Alabama airport parking is the way to go. You can get your truck washed as well. It's my business, and I happen to be a big fan of the show. So maybe we try them out.
You got my attention. I get the truck washed, and we might be able to sneak that one through the.
And you don't give other people my keys?
That's the key.
And you can locate said vehicle? Now we got a winner.
Problem is they've always been full. Every time I try to use them, they're always full.
Can I sneak the part?
John, he's trying to.
Well, he must have a good business.
Look, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just every time I've tried to use it, it was full. So other people maybe
for him to have.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad or wrong.
As long as I'll go park there as long as you don't give me an itemized receipt, because I need that car wash to be just slid right in that expense report. No itemizations.
If you have a reserved spot every Thursday/Friday with a exit on Monday night, we may be able to have a conversation.
They do have a shuttle.
It feels like a lot. I don't need to be getting.
You can do it.
You can do it. Come on.
Oh, I can. But 9:45 Monday nights after
It's
not being
allegedly
home
20.
since
It's
Thursday.
allegedly 24 hours. And I don't think you want to make that walk of shame from the airport all the way down to where their lot is.
Oh no. Okay, we'll discuss it during the break. Come back and before we go to break, though, tell our listeners about Polar Bear Services, Greg.
Well, Polar Bear Services, they have so many different things that they can do for you. I love when I call Wes and just ask him, hey, man, can you take care of this? I'm having an issue with the sink, having an issue with my generator. Don't have one yet, but getting one. Right now is the time, though, to get your whole home comfort system checked. Still in top working order because changes in the temperature are on the way. It's time to make sure that your system is running properly with a checkup from the experts at Polar Bear Services. They are your independent trained dealer. They do system tune-ups, they do duct cleaning, they do repairs, they do new installations. They can also help you with all types of electrical work like whole home generators and plumbing. So make sure, remember, if you have a problem with your electrical, plumbing, heater, air, just pick up the phone and call the Bears, 205-497-BEAR. It's 497-BEAR.
All right, so we'll do this next. We kind of placed our SEC tiers. What team towards the top most likely to fall? What team towards the bottom most likely to climb? Next on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 800-239-9569. You want to get in and talk these SEC football tiers. If there was one in that tier one that you feel like is most likely not going to be there by the end of the season, who would that be? We'll go there next. First, I'll tell you about Game Day Men's Health. If you feel like you are maybe a little bit on edge, if you're not getting good sleep, maybe you lack energy, all could be the effects of low testosterone, and Game Day Men's Health wants to help you with that. Here's what they're going to do. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. They're going to give you a no-charge consultation that includes a free testosterone test and free PSA test. So if you feel miserable or you're not sleeping or you feel on edge, don't have energy, why not just go do this? GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Go get the consult, get the testosterone test, get the PSA test, get a baseline of where you are. They might be able to help you out. They've helped a lot of folks. The other good part of this is minimal upfront cost for all the programs that they offer. Testosterone replacement therapy, many benefits, can help you with better sleep, better mood, less brain fog, more energy, increase stamina, and enhance your muscle mass. You can get all this done at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Schedule your free consultation today. Save 10% on any service they have by mentioning Cube at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Tell them you heard about them right here on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. A team at the top, Greg, that you feel is most likely not to be there. If you had to choose one, Bama, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, where do you go? Not schedule, just the team and the personnel.
Georgia.
What is their biggest flaw, thing that you are most concerned about them with right now?
Quarterback's not playing well, not seeing the field very well, and their secondary is not very good. And their O-line is not.
O-line's beat up.
Not great right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think health might be one that you look at and say has to just overall be your biggest concern with Georgia, just kind of beat up in general. So
I just don't think their personnel is as good as it's been in the past.
Mainly on defense?
Yeah, secondary. Yeah, 3 guys get drafted out of the NFL. Everyone's like, oh, there's Dalen Everett. He got picked on last year. Now he's supposed to be your number 1. I think Dalen Everett's fine. I just don't think he's Kamari Lassiter.
Well, Malachi Starks is also supposed to be this eraser, and I mean, you see him taking bad angles.
It's one of the worst games I've ever seen him play last week, though. I think that's the anomaly performance. I don't think that's who he is. He's a great player. I just don't think he's playing very well. I think he's trying to do too much because he knows that they have weaknesses in the back end. If your answer is a true freshman at safety, we got problems.
Yeah.
Who's, by the way, played receiver in high school.
Would you have said that about Alabama last year?
Their secondary?
A freshman playing safety.
Yeah, until you watch the freshman. For sure.
But, I mean,
I would have said Alabama's got problems if they're expecting their number 1 receiver to be a freshman too. And then you watched him and you're like, oh, okay, he's going to be all right.
He's all right.
All right.
KJ Bolden to me played receiver last year, and I'm not sure he's as physical as you probably want in a Georgia safety. It's Georgia here. Remember, the bar is high at Georgia. We're not talking about just your run-of-the-mill SEC program. We're talking about a program that wants to win a national championship, expects to win a national championship. So, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, their biggest problem is their quarterback right now.
What do you think was happening early in that game? He figured a little bit out, but
yeah, but when he didn't matter anymore, it's like, who cares? Just throw it.
Do you think it's more because of what he thought he was going to get, or what Kane was actually doing and how they were mixing and matching some things?
I didn't think that there was anything that was too advanced or too over the top. It's not like there were like crazy disguises and stuff. I watched the game back. Like, I thought he's seeing ghost. I mean, he is. It's like he's scared to make a mistake. It's like, who cares, dude? Let it rip.
The other part of that was that it's not like the pressure was really getting to him early on. I mean, they got to him a couple times.
Yeah,
but
hit him a few times.
But it wasn't a situation where like he just couldn't drop back.
He got hit more against Kentucky.
Now that one was one where the pressure you looked at that game and said, yes, that's affecting him. That's having an impact on his game.
Correct.
I didn't like, for example, let's take Peyton Thorne early in the season. There were a couple Cal game, maybe even in the opener. You're like, he doesn't have time to drop back. Like, it's obviously affecting what he's doing.
Right.
I didn't feel like that was the issue with Carson Beck against Alabama.
No, I don't think so at all.
So how difficult is it to work through that?
I don't know, man. Like, he's seeing ghosts. I mean, it's not a good situation.
Is that in the same category that I place sort of turnover genetics? And then when that is wired into your DNA, you can't really ever
because
get that out.
He didn't have any problems with it last year. I just think he's scared to turn it over, scared to throw picks, not cutting it loose, not trusting it. He's just not playing well right now. I mean, as simple as that. He's not playing well. And there have been some big misses too. Like, I can live if you're in your own head and you're not seeing the field great, like that happens. Every quarterback at some point or another goes through that. That is what it is. But when you're just flat out missing guys that are open, that's a problem. And we're talking about big plays. Big plays. Play before the safety is a touchdown if you make an accurate throw.
He missed a couple down the field.
Man, alive did he ever. And frankly, there was a couple of his receivers missed.
Yes.
Second play of the game, Arian Smith down the middle. Lovett had a drop. I mean, there were a few.
Three or four really bad drops.
Yeah, there's some drops now. I mean, it's not all on him, but he is not playing anywhere near as confident as he was last year. And I can't point to why. It started in the Kentucky game because he was lights out, really lights out in the second half against Clemson. Tennessee Tech is what it is. It's 7-on-7. And then I thought starting with the Kentucky game, man, he just wasn't the same guy. I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's banged up. Might have something that he's dealing with that we don't know about, but he hurt that shoulder in the Kentucky game. Remember that as a little left shoulder kind of landed on awkwardly.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to have a huge effect on him. That was 3 weeks ago.
All right. Damian, is Georgia that team for you?
No, it's actually Tennessee. And I think it's because in moments we've seen how that Heupel offense can get sputtered at times. And it's kind of, I do think they're still elite, and I think defensively they're fine. It's every now and then you have one game where it's like, what happened? But I mean, I'm not really confident in saying
they won that game though on the road against a good defense. So I feel like that's almost like it pushes them up a little further for me that they didn't have to rely on throwing deep balls in a game like that to go win it. They can win it in a different way.
Yeah, but it would probably be Tennessee.
John?
No, it's Georgia. I don't want to say that they were exposed by Alabama, but the questions that were kind of there at the beginning of the season were vastly on display in the first half of that game. And to their credit, yes, they did come back, but then they didn't have enough to win that game because they kept making a lot of those mistakes still. And I know we're not looking at the schedule, but we know what's still coming. A couple of these top-tier teams that they'll have to face, and I don't know if they can clean it up.
From a matchup perspective, Greg,
Ole Miss is no longer of concern. Are we on the same page there for Georgia?
I'm not going to completely rule it out. Let's think about what you just said about Georgia a few minutes ago.
Correct. Secondary. I understand that.
So that
you still got to block them.
Yes. Well,
so
10 and 11 are playing. I feel good about Georgia.
Yeah. So I think we can rule them out now, right? As a potential Georgia killer.
I'm not going to rule out that they could find a way to win that game, but that is not one that I look at and say Georgia can't get past it.
Okay,
Correct.
cool. I understand it's an election year. That's the politically correct answer of saying.
Because that's the team I go politically correct with, yes.
I know you watched the vice presidential debate last night and you're couching opinions. Like, it's fine.
No, I'm with you, Greg. Like, I don't.
Ole Miss ain't getting them.
No.
Ole Miss ain't there yet.
Where's the Texas matchup?
Not good in favor of Georgia.
Mainly because
their O-line's good and their weapons are sweet.
And like you said, if you have one or two that are liabilities, guess who's probably the best at getting those matchups on a regular basis?
That's what they call them.
Sark Dog.
I'll tell you the other part, Greg.
Not to be confused with the great cartoon that's on for all the kids nowadays, Shark Dog.
I'll tell you the other really concerning part of that matchup for me are the Georgia tackles. Because Texas is much better off the edge this year than they were last year.
They're way more edge than they are inside.
And that's not great if you're going to try to win in a drop back game. And you would think that'd be your strategy because they're still pretty physical in the front seven. So you're probably not just going to run the ball at them. All right, so you got to attack that secondary that still might not be a strength, but you're not going to have a lot of time to do that. You're not. So, and then the Tennessee matchup is one that I'm not sure how I look at that one right now.
I like Tennessee.
I think Tennessee's defense their front will be a problem for Georgia.
Huge.
It's going to be a problem.
Tennessee, I lean Tennessee in that game. You can tell me all it's at home and all. I get that. I think Tennessee right now is playing better football.
All that gap scheme stuff, if Georgia's crashing down on the edges the way that they do, if they're not playing that the right way.
Plus, you got a quarterback that can run. I mean, Nico can run. I don't think Nico's finished product right now throwing it at all. I know a lot of people are like real into him, and as a passer and stuff, like I still think he's very much a work in progress, but I do think he's a good runner.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to let him get out, and he will get out.
All right. When we come back, we'll get to our top three. First, I'll tell you about football season beginning. You know that, which means you better be stocked up on Dale's seasoning. Just 30 minutes. Ultimate grilling marinade can infuse your meats and veggies with unbeatable flavor, making every bite a game changer. Whether you're grilling steaks, burgers, or mixing it into your favorite game day dips, Dale's versatility will elevate your tailgate spread from bland to bold. Don't settle for boring. Make Dale's seasoning your grilling MVP. Top three next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Jocks 94.5. You can watch us live on YouTube. Search Jocks 945 every morning. We're in studio. You can check it out that way. Just get that going at the office and leave it running because Three-Man Front comes on right after that, and you can check them out as well. Appreciate those listening on Sports Radio 740 in Montgomery. If you're heading south, always can check it out that way. And then up north, if you're heading that direction, as I will be on Friday after the show, you can listen on Talk Radio 730 AM, 103.9 FM, The Ump. Appreciate it if you always tune in there, and love the folks that listen in the Rocket City. Thank you very much. All right, let's get to our top three. It's sometimes sports, sometimes not. Damien, what do you have on tap today?
Well, since Gregory said yesterday it's too early to talk about the Heisman, I just want who are the top
too early to
three?
talk about Halloween for a minute there. It is October.
I don't really fool with Halloween that much. Who are your top three college football players after the first month of the season? Regardless of position. So you can't throw an offensive lineman in there, Cole. I'll allow
It
it.
would require having a good offensive lineman.
Wow.
Tyler Booker's in my top 3.
That a baby.
Okay.
Um,
Bammer.
I'm gonna have I don't really care the direction, like how you rank them. Travis Hunter, Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker, and Ashton Genty's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm about to say
mhm.
Ashton Genty's in there.
It can be 1A, 1B, 2B, 3B, whatever those. I'm sorry that's 4, but like those are the 4 that need to be in there.
Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe, and since everybody's going to have Travis Hunter, I'll go Ashton Genty.
You sure you want to go Shador? You want to get 3 quarterbacks in there?
Perfect timing.
I mean, it's only
Give me Jimmy Horn, actually. Jimmy Horn. Give me the other receiver at Colorado just to be the contrarian.
Will Shepard.
Give me Will Shepard.
Will Shepard, SEC
Give
guy.
me Will Shepard in a press conference.
John?
In no particular order, Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe, Travis Hunter.
Man, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Nobody's going Ryan Williams after what he did to Georgia?
Quarterback's harder than receiver.
Yeah.
Hate to break it to you.
Interesting.
I didn't think we were using soft players.
not top 3
You just call
players.
Ryan Williams soft?
He's
Wide receivers.
Oh,
are
wide
soft.
receivers are soft.
Yes.
Agree.
Travis Hunter was in your top 3. Don't he play receiver?
Nope, it's a DB.
He's a DB.
Ah,
I agree.
interesting.
Good job.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well said.
I like that. No, I would have Jalen Milroe, Ashton Genty, and Travis Hunter as well. But Ashton Genty, like, if he was playing anywhere else, he would really be. I know it's too
He
early.
might run for 2,500 yards, y'all. Look at
like
his
legit.
schedule.
Yeah.
Look at the schedule.
Legit.
if
He's on pace for over 3,000.
if he stays healthy,
Oh,
he probably should win it. And I don't think he's going to because if a couple of the other guys, Travis Hunter keeps doing what he's doing, he can easily win it. If Jalen Milroe does close to what he's done, he can easily win it. Cam Ward keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to win it. And they will all win it before he will, which is a little bit
Yeah.
unfortunate
Yeah.
because he's awesome.
He's
so
awesome.
fun to
No,
watch.
he's great.
So fun to watch.
Tell us how much you really love him.
I love him a lot. Also think that
What about Blake Horvat, the quarterback in Navy?
he's a really good player.
you got that dog.
How come you're not giving him any love?
I
Is this
feel
top
like
3, not top 30?
did I not throw him in for bad about it?
You kind of did.
You
Yeah.
gave him about it.
Okay, I don't know what else you want me to
What
give
about
him.
Curtis Rourke, quarterback in Indiana?
What about Josh Hoover, quarterback TCU? I hadn't heard you mention him.
He's 3-2. Can't win it on a good team. Not a bad team.
14 touchdowns, 4 picks. Pretty good.
He's cooking.
3-2.
What about Eli Holstein ripping it up for Pitt? They're undefeated for the first time since, what, 2000?
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, great.
Built by Bama.
Yeah, he was.
So outsourced. Oh, okay. I get it.
Why don't you go baby Mahomes and Dylan Raiola? That's your boy, ain't it?
I like him. I really do. I think he's a good player.
Okay.
Cole thinks he does everything extra, but I think he's good.
Tyler Shuck, 11 touchdowns, 1 pick. You don't throw him out there.
He's still playing ball?
Will Rogers, 75% completed, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Hey.
We know you hate him. Just say you hate him.
3-2 record.
Say you hate
But
him.
they're going to beat Michigan this week.
Say
What?
Let's go, puppies.
Oh, you didn't do that. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Glad you're with us. 800-239-9569. Get you in. Listen online, jocksfm.com. Don't forget about the app. It's in your app store, iPhone, Android. You can download that for free. Listen every morning right here on Jocks 94.5. And every Thursday night, you can hear Matt Berry on the call for college football games alongside Dan Mullen. And you can see him in studio, Sports Center, and doing college football over the weekend. Matt, how are we doing today?
Gentlemen, since the last time I was on your program, the clock integrity has improved 100%, which means Cole must be driving the show today. We're on time. Things are good. That's good for the viewers and everybody in between. Or
sometimes I just got to slide. Sometimes you got to slide the kick. It's the way you got to do.
Or sometimes you got to put a captain in charge of the team, and I think we've done that.
Wow, there we go.
No.
Matt, we were just talking about like best players in college football, and Ashton Ginty came up. We were talking about just some of his numbers. They are ridiculous, but can he honestly win the Heisman Trophy this year?
No, and it sucks because we were actually talking about this last week in studio before college football final, that if Boise State really wants to get this guy in, I mean, you can't be playing at 10:30 on the East Coast. I mean, there's times where we have to wait for the Boise State highlight for the Boise State game to be done because they're playing on the West Coast. And so, I mean, if this kid's in at 3:30 Eastern, which they're not going to be, then yeah, he has a real opportunity to win the Heisman Trophy. But it goes back. Remember Marshall Faulk back in the day? Like, people didn't know what was going on because he played so far west. And so we're not talking about a Reggie Bush and USC, a food group program that gets good time slots. And so that's the unfortunate part about the Heisman Trophy. Two parts. One, it's turned into, hey, who's the best quarterback on the best team? And that's about it. And rarely does a West Coast team get any love. And I think Ginty playing at a smaller program and on that time zone, it's going to hurt him.
How would you assess just the first month, kind of summing it up? You and I did SportsCenter yesterday. One of my biggest takeaways is just the upside down nature of the state of Florida, with Florida State and Florida being down, Miami being up, UCF. I think you had a good note on them as well. So that one's one that I didn't really anticipate coming into the season, even though I thought Miami'd be good. But is there something that has just really caught your eye here in the first month that just kind of has you scratching your head?
Well, less head scratching and more of, if you really take a step back and kind of look at what we're in store for in October and November, I could look at every league in the country, every single one, maybe outside the Big Ten, because I don't think the depth there is really good. I think it's top heavy again with 3 teams. But you could look at every conference in the country and say, hey, you know what? Big 12 is wide open. ACC is pretty damn wide open. Even the SEC now, with how Tennessee's playing because they've got a defense, the big one against Alabama in a few weeks. Like, there are schools. Georgia's coming off a loss. Do you think you want to play that second half Georgia team again? I mean, there are so many things that have me looking and saying, okay, well, wait a second. This parity is a lot of fun in some of these leagues. What is it? Is it the portal? Is it NIL? Is it both? Is it we're finally getting to a point where there's just more talent spread across the country? And so I think coming out of September, the excitement around the unknowns, which we're going to know a lot about here in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And then look, I don't know that a lot of people aren't surprised about Ole Miss losing to Kentucky. I think there are some surprises in there that we'll have to keep an eye on throughout the rest of the season. And I said this on another show yesterday. The one thing to keep an eye on in October as well, watch out for these games. I'm telling you it's going to happen. Watch out for a game, a realignment game, where a team from the East has never traveled out West and they're playing a 10:30 Eastern kick in a conference they know nothing about. Someone's going to get got in October, and it's going to be a big one.
Is it Miami this week? Is that what you're predicting?
I don't know that I don't know that the Calgorithm's going to get him right away. But
the Calgorithm?
That's my jumping off point for this one, is that you have to watch these weird kickoff times against. I mean, we saw it with Michigan and USC, right? It's just a different kind of athlete that recruits on the West Coast relative to what they're getting in the heartland of America, and these big offensive linemen, these hand in the dirt, physical style play. It's going to get someone.
It's actually a bad matchup for Miami when you think about it. I mean, physically, Cal, I think, can hold up, right? They have a quarterback super efficient. They run the ball fairly well. They can keep the ball away from Cam Ward. It's not a crazy thought to think that one gets done this weekend. So I don't know. I wanted to follow up with what you said, kind of about where some of these games are going and some of these upsets that may happen, but more specifically, your thought on Georgia. It sounds like you may be coming out a little bit more positive on this Georgia football team because of what they did in the second half. And I really feel like a lot of us are split on this. It's a lot of us saw maybe some issues with Georgia and some things we're not going to be able to move past, and other people kind of impressed with what Georgia did late, able to come back in that game. Are you feeling better about Georgia moving forward?
Yeah, Cole, it's a great question. It's kind of a two-part because, one, what have we said about Georgia the last 2 years? I know that they've kind of been the class of college football over the last 4 years, but what have we said about them, especially last year, and then we saw it again this year? They will mess around with the team in the first half, and at the end of the game, like a boa constrictor, they'll wrap themselves around you. They'll find a way to get out of there with a win like they did against Kentucky. But eventually a loss will find you if you mess around too long in this league and in college football. We saw it against Kentucky. They got away with it last year in a lot of their games. They weren't going to get away with it against Alabama after digging themselves a 28-0 hole and then getting a 1-point lead late in the game. I think my stance on Georgia is I've been waiting. I think all of us have been waiting to see what explosive playmakers were going to step up for Georgia with Brock Bowers gone and Ladd McConkey gone and a lot of this talent they've had the past couple of years. Who is going to step up, and do they have that guy? Second half of that game answered my question. Yes, they had that guy. Carson Beck had looked okay at best in the games prior, and he looked flat out awful in the first half of that game. And they're sitting there telling me that this is the guy they think is going to be the number one overall pick in the draft. It's like, okay, well, what GM is going to take a chance on this? Well, second half, he put the team on his back, got it to some of those playmakers. And again, when you come back from 28-0, it shows you that this team has heart. It shows you that this team has talent, and it shows you that they do have a top-flight quarterback. How that manifests itself the rest of the way, they've got a tough schedule. We'll find out. But had they just got their doors blown off and Kalen DeBoer kind of planted his flag in the ground and said, you know what, we're not going anywhere. I don't care if Nick Saban's gone or not. Alabama football's here to stay. Had that happened, then I think you'd have a real problem. But I came out of it saying, okay, there's 2 quarters of football from the Georgia I'm accustomed to seeing. I'm not going to have a problem arguing that they're one of the top 12 teams in the country.
They're still very, very good. They still have a very high ceiling, but there are more question marks on this year's team than I thought, at least going into last weekend. Let's go to a couple other teams in the SEC. Tennessee this week against Arkansas. Arkansas has given Tennessee fits historically, with Tennessee having high expectations. You think back to the Clint Sterner games there in the late 90s and some close calls there for the Vols against the Hogs. How would you assess this Tennessee team, and are they capable of going and maybe winning the whole thing?
You know, all of us that love this sport know about Tennessee. We know that they're going to have an offense. We know that's what Josh Heupel does, and he does it at a high level. What have we all said about Tennessee in the past 2 years when they were getting in these 42-38 shootouts? Well, they don't have a defense. It appears now they have a defense. And when you have a defense that can get you out of some mistakes that Nico Iamaleava is going to make because he's a young quarterback, it makes you more of a complete team. Sometimes you're going to have to bail your young quarterback out, even though he's made few mistakes. And I think that the fact that they're synced up now with Heupel, he's built the program and got the players in that he wants to sustain this level of success. Tennessee coming in, what were we all guilty of in the preseason? Georgia given, Alabama given, Texas given in the SEC. Ole Miss, we thought 11-1 with their schedule they're in. And then we all picked Mizzou as a trendy team to crash the college football playoff. That's 5. And then there was an asterisk by LSU, and there was an asterisk maybe by Tennessee. Take the asterisk away from Tennessee. Like right now, they're one of the top 5 teams in the SEC. They're better than Missouri, and they're right in there with Alabama, Georgia, Texas. I mean, they're a really, really good team. In fact, they're better than Ole Miss. We'll put them in the top 4. And so they have an opportunity to get to that game with Alabama undefeated in a few weeks. And Arkansas, look, Taylon Green can be so good, and then he can be so head-scratching. We saw it last week against Texas A&M. I just think Tennessee has too much to lose this game.
Matt Berry joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline, talking college football. When you look at, we mentioned Ashton Genty a little bit earlier, group of 5, when you think about deserved teams that could be in, should be in, what's kind of your 1,000-foot view of that this year as we head into year 1 of the 12-team playoff?
I'm excited for next week because we have JMU on Thursday night college football against Coastal Carolina. And I love that because last year we had JMU, and what was the conversation around them? Well, they can't play for the conference championship. They can't do this. They can't do that. Their stats aren't even recorded because they were a first-year FBS team. Well, now they lose everyone to Indiana, Kurt Signetti. The transfer portal comes in and takes the players because the coach left. And all Chesney's done in this first year is has JMU scoring 70 points against North Carolina and really playing good football again. So you look at them. You look at Boise State. You look at the great story that's Barry Odom and UNLV out west. And when you look at the group of 5, and look at the service academies, Army and Navy are undefeated.
It's awesome.
Army's in a conference for their first time in the American. What if they, with their schedule, we looked at their schedule, we called their game last week, we're like, oh, hell, they could maybe run this thing, go on a run, win the American in their first year. You got to talk about them. So group of 5 is going to have a couple of problems. One, belief from people that, like, oh, this is a legitimate team. And 2, getting the coverage. And I've made it my mission on College Football Final, and we get lucky because we call a lot of these games. And really, as you guys know, on Thursday nights, we're the only show in town in terms of college football, to really give them the coverage they deserve. Because whether us big conference snobs like it or not, they're getting in. And so you got to get to know some of these teams. And UNLV with the Sluka stuff, the fact that quarterback came in last week and they just absolutely beat the tar out of Fresno State, they're legit. And so you got to look at UNLV as a team and get to know them a little bit. I can't wait to introduce everybody to this version of JMU next week.
When you look at, first of all, I think JMU is pretty good, man. They're fun to watch. They've done a great job. Chesney's the real deal. They had a lot of guys that left, like you referenced, that are now playing pivotal roles for an undefeated Indiana team. And yet they just keep marching along. So I like them a lot. I, however, am one that feels like the game between the 5-12 won't be competitive. And it's not because the G5 is not good. It's just because that 5 team, likely the loser in the SEC title game, is going to be stacked. So is there a team, though, that you look at in the G5, since you've watched them closely, that you think is most equipped to play against teams at the Power 5 level? Whether they win or not is beside the point, but team that is most equipped based on what they have that could potentially make it interesting.
Yeah, and I'd say, we fell victim of this in one of our broadcasts. The G5 doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the 12th seed. That's not at all. It doesn't say highest ranked group of 5, you're the 12th seed.
Well,
but I get the point. I get your point. I get what you're saying, and it's you can't say it definitively because you get garbage like, oh, it doesn't say that in the playoff bylaws. But I understand what you're saying. That's likely going to be the case. I don't hear. Okay, let's see if I can put this in its simplest form to make a relative argument. Put it this way: back in the day, Rose Bowl, TCU, Group of 5, Wisconsin, Big Ten loaded. Gary Patterson had enough time to prepare for that game.
Yes.
To understand that his depth, Andy Dalton was a quarterback,
correct,
that his depth wasn't going to be enough to compete with Wisconsin. It just isn't. We saw that when they went to the Big 12. It took 2 years to get the depth to compete in the Power 5. The only chance a Group of 5 has, because they're going to go in knowing they can't go 2.5 deep with 4- and 5-star players. They know that. And so the only chance they're going to have is be 100% healthy, which at that time of year is going to be difficult, and a game plan that structures themselves around, hey, like, you're playing every snap. You're going to get a breather here. They're just going to have to go all in to get out of that first round. And then after that, I don't think it's possible just because, like I talked about, the week in and week out depth issues. But first round, who knows? I doubt that it's a possibility, but it's not impossible. And I'd say, look, you guys know this, playing college ball at a high level. I mean, would you want to run into a 100% healthy service academy?
The first thing you brought up, Matt, when you started looking at those schedules, because we talked to Trent Dilfer about it earlier on the show, that Navy offense in the first round of the playoffs against a team that maybe has, kind of an average or not great defense, there's no way they want any part of that.
None.
No shot.
None, son.
Right. No, like you don't want to deal with that blocking scheme, and then is Horvath going to throw or is he not? That's the one that could probably throw a wrench in the whole thing is one of these service academies getting in there. And here's the other thing about them. They're tough as hell. What do they care? They don't care that this guy's an SEC offensive lineman. They don't care. Like they're going to go fight for the country the second they graduate. What do they care that the guy's 75 to 100 pounds bigger than them? Just going to do what they can to get him out of his way. And so those are the ones that I think would be fascinating to watch. Could you imagine the loser of the SEC championship going up against Army or Navy? It would just be a fun game to watch. I mean, ultimately, the bigger school is probably going to figure out and pull away, but it'd still be fascinating. I guarantee you every one of those head coaches would be like, God, now we got to prep for a triple option with a quarterback.
Well, the interesting thing was like if Army and Navy are playing and they're both undefeated, maybe the winner's the G5 champ. They actually play on the 14th, and they could theoretically play on the 20th in their postseason game. That's unlikely.
Yeah, not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time. And I don't know how the committee's protocols would be under those circumstances because, I mean, let's be real. I'm rooting for it. I want to see a service academy in there at the 12th seed. It'd be incredible. So I'm all for it. But it'd be really interesting layer of discussion that might need to be had here in the next couple of weeks.
Matt,
go ahead, Cole.
I was just going to say, I got one more for you because we haven't talked a lot about them. They've been flying way under the radar. They'll get a little bit of bigger test this week and then next week. And then obviously as the season goes on, they have a couple more. Where are you on Ohio State right now?
All right. So here's I believe, Ohio State in a nutshell. I think top to bottom, they are the most talented roster in the country. They've got the most talented roster in the country. Imagine Alabama with Caleb Downs still. Imagine Ole Miss with Quinshon Judkins still. Well, both of them play at Ohio State. Aside from Williams at Alabama, who's one of the great phenoms we've seen in quite some time, have you seen this Jeremiah Smith kid? Like,
who? I haven't heard about him. I haven't listened to Klatt's podcast, so I haven't.
I mean,
Greg goes on a limb, Matt, the other day and says Ryan Williams the best freshman receiver I've ever seen. I was like, have you seen the one in Columbus? Like,
no.
I'm not saying he's definitely better.
I don't even know
like
if I said that. I think I definitely said that these freshmen are different now. These freshmen are different now. So they show up and it's like they're just on a different level. But yeah, JJ Smith's unbelievable.
But so you look at him, well, okay, what if they shut him down? Well, there's Emeka Egbuka. Well, what if they shut down Quinshon Judkins? Well, there's Travion Henderson. I mean, this team is absolutely loaded, but I know nothing about them because they played an awful non-conference schedule. I get it. They played Michigan State last week. Jonathan Smith's trying to get that thing off the ground after the Mel Tucker disaster. So they're trying to figure it out. You're going to learn a lot about Ohio State in the next month because we know on paper you're going to be hard-pressed to find a more talented team in the country. But they haven't really kind of got the Ole Miss thing going where the first time they're going to get slapped in the mouth is probably – look, they've got Iowa. Iowa's going to at least play them tough. I don't think they can get in a shootout with them. But the first one's going to be October 12th at Oregon, where they're finally going to be on the field with someone who's punching their weight class. But for right now, I think they're the most talented team in the country.
Yeah. Hard to argue with.
Matt, great stuff, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Great conversation. Wanted to catch up. It's been too long. We'll do it again soon.
Gentlemen, good talking to you, Cole. Let's go have another vacation at Niagara Falls. That was just mesmerizing.
I'm all about some action. You just let me know when.
Later, fellas.
All right.
See you, buddy.
Matt Berry of ESPN joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline. Great stuff there, talking all kind of things, college football. And if there's all kind of things you need to wear to a college football game, Greg, you can get them at the Pants Store.
Pants Store is your game day headquarters with all the best brands. They're all on stock. All have the Bama logo, Auburn logo. They got all the stuff. Horn Legend, Cutter and Buck, Antigua Gentile. Nobody does game day apparel quite like the Pants Store. And ladies, they can get you game day ready as well, head to toe, with Western boots or a new dress or a romper. They have you covered. They also have tennis shoes if you want to go in there and snag that. It's easy to walk around campus when you have some new Hokas on. Pants Store has you covered. Pants Store has tons of clear purses as well, so you can get through security looking as cute as can be. I'm just reading what it says. I don't know if they're cute. They're clear purses. I'm sure they're great. No, they're convenient, say Bear, if you're trying to snag one, trying to take some stuff into a game. So free alterations and gift wrap is available. So zip on down to the Pants Store for all your game day needs.
If you think they're cute, you can say they're cute.
I think they're cute, maybe. I don't know. I think the plastic clear bags are super trendy.
It would allow you to dance through security. That's cool.
You dance through security.
Yeah.
They're convenient. I can tell you when Secret Service is checking you, it's I'd recommend having that clear purse.
It'd be good to be cute when Secret Service is checking you.
Yes.
Not a bad idea. All right.
They made me throw away my cough drops.
You never know what those things could be used for.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, this is not James Bond. I can't
What if
drop this cough drop in a glass.
Slingshot and you could use those for your slingshot ammo? Dangerous.
I'm just like, sir, I called a game 3 hours ago. My voice is really hoarse. I need these cough drops. And I don't care. It's not like these are like those secret cough drops where you can drop them in water and it turns into like an explosive device. Like
they're not the Mission Impossible drops.
It's not Mission Impossible James
No red
Bond.
light, green light. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
no, none of that.
All right, we got some injury news in college football we need to discuss. We'll do that next right here on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. What is this?
This is "Leave Me Alone" by Michael Jackson.
Was this when he kind of he made like the comeback and did like the ridiculous video?
Yeah, this is the song, ain't it?
That's what I'm saying.
A bit, yeah.
It was almost like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like stop motion, but the weird little animation.
Well, the one with Magic Johnson, everybody was like,
that's Remember the Time.
Yeah, but but the video was like 19 minutes. The song was like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
Remember the Time.
But I feel like this is one too where he tried to make a comeback and do some crazy video. It was
90s Michael went a little weird.
90s Michael?
Just 90s.
About to say, that was when he got weird. Gotcha.
Every one of them was a little bit out there.
So did Madonna and Whitney. I mean, they had their 80s, and then 90s came, and then they went a little odd.
90s was a weird time.
It was a great time. Can I just, speaking of 90s, clarify one thing?
Okay.
I'm 99% sure I'm right here.
Emphasis on 90s? 90s 9?
Yep.
Okay.
The quote from the program is not axe everybody. It's axe them all and let the paramedics sort them out.
Yeah.
But Saturday night, everybody thought, like, maybe the kid watched the program. Now, maybe there's a part I don't remember correctly.
But you know.
But I do know that Alvin Mack said, X them all, let the paramedics sort them out. That was the line. And I appreciate people trying to
I'm not sure I understand
credit
the
a
context.
17-year-old with watching the greatest sports movie of all time, which it is. There is no sports movie better than the program. If you want to talk about sports movies that not only held the test of time, became more accurate over time, that's the one, the only one. Don't give me For Love of the Game, Clear the Mechanism. I don't want to hear it.
No unnecessary roughness.
I don't want to hear about hidden balls in the cornfields, seeing ghosts. The program was real. Like, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
When we got a starting position, we went to our Ford Explorer and we busted the back windshield with our forehead. That's what happened.
You got to play
Just because there was no TikTok to put it on doesn't mean it didn't happen. All right? We didn't have graphics back then. That's not how we proved things. No, we're talking about the nose tape, eye black thing. Which, by the way, also, what are these kids wearing? It is like a giant black sticker that goes from under one eye across nose to other eye.
It's like KT tape.
Yes.
It's like KT tape.
Actually, I think that might be what it is. Are we just taking the multiple eye stickers and stacking them across our eyes? I don't know what we're doing.
I have no idea.
It looks
Is it
like
Gorilla
maybe
tape?
like a snore strip too. Maybe they painted it black
Together? They
and
make
then
black,
they have the eye black.
They
or
make black breathe rights. You can get them.
Yeah. So maybe it's that along with like those.
I think Ray Lewis was the first one to have black breathe rights. They
Yeah.
were like, he needs a black one to go with the eye black and just.
But did
more
they just
menacing.
not just take a normal breathe right and color them with a Sharpie?
But I think you can get them black now.
Oh, you can.
I think back in in the 90s, that's what we did.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you got the Sharpie fumes in it also.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which
They
helped.
kept you going. Yeah. Kept your brain right.
What's the big thick marker with the giant cappy
Expo.
puff?
Expo,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's got
yeah.
it looks like a dry eraser that for the writing part of
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you get one of those and color it, and then you're just like, man, not only can I breathe, but it's feeling good.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was back in the day.
I don't know, man.
You didn't see the eye black? Can I say what it said, John? Or said,
Yeah,
it said kill everybody.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan Williams, eye black Greg said kill everybody.
I
And
did not realize
everybody,
it said that.
90% of America immediately credited the program. And I don't think he says that in the program.
He in fact is not.
Yeah.
The line in the program is
the direct line is let's open up a can of kick ass and kill them all, comma, let the paramedics sort them out.
Kill 'em
That's
all.
the exact line.
Yeah.
kill them all, let the paramedics sort them out.
Correct. Yes.
Wait, what about when he's watching tape and he says, blitz the backside backer? Then
He knows everything.
Kill everybody.
Yeah,
Does he
that's
not
one
say
of
that?
that's one of their checks.
Yeah, that's one of the checks. Kill everybody. So maybe that's it.
Maybe that is it.
Yeah.
Is that what he says, John? Can you find that line?
It'd be when he's watching tape.
Yeah.
And they're going through clips.
But
I mean, he did do the dirty bird in the end zone too. Like he's
Is Ryan
17 years
Williams-
old.
Is Ryan Williams a throwback?
he is a child born in the wrong era. Is what I think we're all agreeing
That's what we
upon
got.
here. This is what we're yes.
Got a little old school
He's
in him.
destined to be a 90s college football player, and he's just unfortunately not. Just think back then he'd be going like 2 for 160.
Yeah.
on 3 targets.
3 targets.
Max.
Big day. He's our featured guy. We throw it in his direction 3 times a game.
Yeah.
He gets 1 slant and 2 posts.
Yeah, that's how the game was back then.
When you watch his game, like what separates him, Greg? Like what makes him different?
How he tracks the ball. How he tracks the ball is ridiculous. I mean,
Damian, why is tracking the ball hard? You know the route. You know essentially where the ball is going to be. Why is that hard?
But it's kind of like
how can somebody be so
you
much
don't
better?
know where
late.
the ball.
Yeah, he's
you don't
late
know
with
where
his
the
hands.
ball.
He's late with his hands, and I think that's one of the
play at
best.
Auburn, yeah, but
you don't know where the ball is
you
going to
don't
be.
know
Like he throws the ball to a spot, yeah, and you get to the spot, but like the ball might be off by 3 feet to the right
behind you
or whatever.
lower
I mean,
high,
it's
And I think it's his body control.
he's got
like,
great
if you
body.
play at
control.
LSU, you need like moon glasses to look up straight up in the air.
You need is that like the opposite of sunglasses?
Yep. They play at night, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Moon glasses.
I just
That
made
moon
that
does
up.
get bright.
I feel like we could market those.
Yeah.
Sunglasses to be worn at night. Moon glasses.
That sounds like a great plan.
That's right.
Next time the murder moon comes or whatever it's called, you'd be good.
The murder moon.
The blood moon?
Yeah, that's
That's
Yeah.
what. Well, yeah.
all
Yeah.
those things.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. All right, so tracking the football. What
Yeah.
else?
Body control. I mean, he's just what he did on the juke to make those guys literally hug. Like they're going for a tackle, and he hits a move. One, the catch that he has anyway, he's literally centimeters from the sideline and still doesn't step out. Man's just different, man.
I feel like it almost helps him that he is. I'm not
Small?
no, but
Slim.
he's all right. So when you watch like Tyreek Hill make a cut, it's very jerky, like it's very twitchy.
Mhm.
He's almost less twitchy, more smooth, and I think that helps him in some of his jukes and whatnot because it's not as like bam bam. It's almost like maybe here, and
Yeah.
it's like it
Well,
it almost gives you time to think about where he might be going.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with a lot of guys that are just kind of da da da, like Devon A-Chain is kind of like boom boom, and it's just like if you make the first miss, it's like he's going the other way, it's over. I feel like Ryan Williams can kind of like give you 4 things to think about, and he might be going that way. What? No, okay, no, that way, and then it's. I don't think that made any sense, but I'll try.
No,
to
it's
explain
smooth,
it.
not sudden.
There you go. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got great acceleration. I think he's got really, he gets top end speed pretty quick. This guy doesn't have a super long stride. But he's one of those guys that never looks like he's running that. Like you look at Tyreek, you just know he's grinding.
He's
like,
moving, yeah.
like he's trying. But with him, he never looks like he's trying. But he is, obviously. He's just very, very smooth. He's a natural, dude. I mean, it's hard to describe. I mean, it's just a natural. There's just not a lot of guys like it. I never thought I'd see a guy more polished early in his career than Amari Cooper. I thought he was the most polished freshman receiver I would ever see in an Alabama uniform. I think this guy is every bit as good, if not better, in many ways than Amari was early in his career, which is saying a lot and people remember Julio. Julio was a physical freak, but the production really wasn't there until his 3rd year. I mean, he actually had a bunch of drops, had some soft tissue injuries, was a little inconsistent as a freshman, always provided that freakish nature. Like, all right, you can't cover this guy. Like if he needs to make a jump ball catch, like this guy can probably do it. But it took him a little time to kind of get to where he needed to get. These guys, I mean, day one, their route running's unreal. Their separation's unreal. They're just polished. They're really, really polished, which is amazing.
Did you find it, John?
You, Alvin, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is Mississippi State's offensive set. 2nd and 2 on our own 24. What defensive set might we call?
Eagle zipper hero, unless a setback shifts into the eye.
Good. 3rd and 7.
Okie Thunder Lion.
What's your assignment?
Kill the quarterback. Hit the tight end so hard his girlfriend dies. Kill everybody.
There you go.
Okay, there it is.
Kill everybody.
I love it.
That just took you back, dude. Like, that's your movie.
Can you
dog.
play that again? I want to try to.
You, Alvin, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Stop it
All right,
after
this
he
is
gives the
Mississippi
first
State's
defense.
offensive set. 2nd and 2 on our own 24. What defensive set might we call?
Eagle zipper hero,
right,
unless
stop,
a setback
stop.
shifts into the eye.
All right, so Eagle Zipper Hero. So I'm thinking Eagle would be
The front.
front.
Yeah, the front. So it's probably like an old school odd front, like 5-man front with tilt nose.
I'd think a 50 front. Yeah, with an eagle. I think
right.
50.
Zipper.
For the record, Eagle Zipper Hero might be the dumbest play call ever. And if you really think, like he's asking, he said in 2nd and 2 on our own 24, what might we call? First of all, if you think a defensive player is sitting there thinking about down and distance just outside the red zone, when their back is slightly against the wall on 2nd and 2, yeah, you're giving defensive players way too much credit. See ball, get ball.
Yeah, but this was Alvin Mack, though. This is not a regular defensive player.
He said, see that? That says Adidas. Couldn't read.
Didn't need to. Also bought his mom a door knocker before he actually was going to get her the house.
It's a good thought, though.
It's a great thought. I mean, this one,
and a torn ACL ended his career.
I feel like it was a little more than that. It's a little further damage than he had there.
Zipper would be backwards.
Like zipper, like maybe something to the right, like slant to the right. Maybe I'm thinking. If I had to guess,
yeah, maybe.
But if you're running an odd defense and it's a lot of slant. Yeah. Okay, hero. Like what from a coverage standpoint could hero be? Zero coverage?
Yeah.
Zero? Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
No safety?
Perhaps.
It's aggressive.
That's a dumb one. The other one actually you could make into like Okie Thunder Lion.
Thunder Lion. Something left.
Okie's 3 down. That's 3 down line. That's easy. Piece of cake. Thunder is probably some type of fire zone.
Yeah. Pressure.
So Thunder, meaning you're probably attacking their heavy side, because
to the right.
Lightning would be attacking the passing strength.
He's going after
Thunder
the tight
would
end.
be attacking. What's that?
He's going after the tight end.
Yeah. So that's a heavy side. So he's probably attacking the Thunder side. So you're going towards you're blitzing the strength of their formation. And then Lion would maybe be. First of all, there's no coverage in there. Lion is not a coverage.
It's not a coverage.
It's just stupid. The program is stupid.
It's not.
It's been stupid, and it's always going to be stupid.
Just because you hate defensive players and defensive play calls doesn't mean it's stupid.
I'll tell you what a defensive play call is. Evamaka A-check rain. That is a blitz.
That Tennessee's quarterback?
Even is a blitz.
My last 2 years at Auburn, when we had John Lovett, it was mainly base cover 2.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's literally like.
And our guys would be so mad because we practiced 11 pressures during the week, and he would never call them.
Yeah,
never call them.
It's about right.
I can remember vividly Alex Lincoln run off the field. Enough with the base. All right, we'll be back with more after this. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, Wednesday, October 2nd, 9:41 a.m. Damien, you missed National Fried Scallops Day.
Oh, sorry.
You're in so good with Fox 6.
What's better than how people in the Northeast say scallops?
Maybe
I never played for the Jets, so I don't know.
You never heard Northeastern folks say scallops? How do you say scallops?
Scallops?
Yeah, same page, right? Up there, they say scallops.
Okay.
Seriously. Scallops.
They also call them jimmies. So.
What is that?
What is that?
Sprinkles.
They
also call it pop.
Oh, yeah.
Weirdos.
That was weird.
That's true. Well, if you hear a pop in your basement or crawl space, you need to call our friends at B-Dry. B-Dry has been making sure that your home is waterproofed, that your basement and crawl space is dry, and they'll take great care of you. And they back it up with the life of the structure warranty that you won't find anywhere else. This is the best, and they'll get you the best price as well. 12 months interest-free, no payments. That's right, 12 months interest-free, no payments. So you get the job done for the best price as well. So job done right, strongest warranty, and best price. Call B-Dry now, the largest waterproofing company in the country at 942-1976, or visit bdryalabama.com.
Gonzaga to the Pac-12. Good?
Good for them, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is it?
There goes that, 4-round bye in the conference tournament.
I love how we're just taking all these teams and putting them in the Pac-12 and trying to pretend like the Pac-12 is what it once was with SC and Cal and Stanford.
No one's pretending.
A lot of people are.
No,
Pac-12 is back.
They're not. But it's smart because you at least have some semblance of branding. And there are people that you're referencing that will still elevate it in their minds because of what it once was. I don't think it means that they think it's the same, but they will absolutely put it ahead of the Mountain West and put it ahead of the Sun Belt and put it ahead of CUSA because it's the Pac-12. That's going to happen. It will. So it should have happened a long time ago. Leofkoff couldn't get that done for whatever reason. I know they're trying to hang on and get some of the revenue, whatever, but should have just rolled them all in to begin with. UTEP's going to go to the Mountain West. Got it. Texas State's going to stay in the Sun Belt. Noted. That's your realignment talk for the day.
Love it. What more could you ask for than that?
Purdue's fired their offensive coordinator, Graham Harrell. It feels a touch early for that, Greg.
You think?
Here we are. He's out.
I mean, I'm not saying that Graham's done a great job or anything, but talk about desperation mode. I mean, how many times have teams fired a coordinator after 4 weeks and like, oh, it's better now?
Now we got it figured out.
Now he was the problem, but I do think they were probably trying. They have to. I think the natives are getting a little restless around West Lafayette.
1-3 start, only win against Indiana State. Notre Dame was 66-7.
What was that score?
66-7.
Ouch.
Oregon State 38-21. Nebraska 28-10. It's not been good. Has not been great. But it just feels a little early in the year to say, you know what?
Punt.
We're going to move on and hand that over to somebody else.
They punted on him because they punted too much.
They left that one in the drafts, but it's all good.
It's okay.
He's mad.
He's there.
Didn't even need to type that one up. Nope. That way it doesn't stay in the drafts.
That one's that good. It's that good.
You got an offensive coordinator roll in for Waynes?
I'm offended.
Don't fire your yard guy this early in the season. It's not even to dormancy yet.
We got to get through.
Purdue's offense may have been in dormancy, but let me tell you what's not.
They're just trying to get treatment pre-dormancy by getting the nutrients into their offense, and
there you go.
Here we are. And hey, you
might not be worried about your offense this year, but once it turns warm again, will you be worried about your offense then? Waynes can get your yard ready for that and get you ready for the cold months. You need to be thinking ahead if you want your yard to be the envy of the neighborhood. GMAC, that's why our listeners need to call Waynes.
And you can get the first month free. I mean, this guy will coach your offense for free for the first month, whoever's filling in the interim. And you can get that too by using the offer code JOX. That's JOX at callwaynes.com. That's JOX at callwaynes.com. You can also call him 866-WAYNES1. That's 866-WAYNES1. And let Waynes continue to create your happy place.
All right. When we come back, a bad box score of the day next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Playoff baseball coming up today. Get you updated on that tomorrow. Mentioned some realignment. Talked to best college football players in the country to this point earlier today. Spent some time talking Auburn and the matchup against Georgia. That offense, what it's going to look like. Talk Georgia moving forward, what they might look like. If you missed any of them, you can go back and you can find the podcast, jocksfm.com, on the app. Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get yours. Watch on YouTube every day. Search Jocks945. You can go get that after the show as well. Catch up with those there. All right. Your CBD store wants to help you catch up on how you feel. If you need to feel better, your CBD store can help with that. If you need better focus throughout the course of the day, some weight loss, the Trim by SunMed on the shelves now at the largest brick and mortar CBD retailer on planet Earth. Also, the first company to have USDA certified organic oil supplements. They have the stamp seal on those products. 4 locations, Highway 280 by Bailey Brothers, 150 by the Cage in Cleaver, Trustful just off 459, and now downtown in 5 Points, your CBD store, where good health hits home. Let's get to our bad box score of the day.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me.
That's the game.
All right, I'll take you to lower levels of college football. I'm not 100% certain what division these teams are in. The 4-0 DePaul, D-E-P-A-U-W, by the way.
Oh, DePaul, not DePaul.
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 Not D Feinbaum, but
are they the Tigers?
DePaul. They are the Tigers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody went to school there.
A lot of people
basketball.
went to school there.
The basketball. Dang.
Chris Paul. Chris Paul.
I think it was Quentin Richardson.
Maybe Cliff Paul.
Wait, continue.
They just snuck past the Oberlin.
We've had them.
The Norsemen.
Lumberjacks.
No.
Dang.
And this is not the ski resort in Gatlinburg you've heard of.
Tigers.
Yowman.
That's what it was.
The what?
Yowman.
And that the A&M cheerleaders?
Yowman. 72-0.
Oh.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Statistically, Yowman were outrushed 179-92, outpassed 305 to 110. The Oberlin Yowman 12 of 32 for the game passing. It's not the best. 2 interceptions on the day. 484 to 202, your total yardage output.
Yeah, double up will do it.
There was 1 punt in the game for DePaul. They kicked off 12 times for 705 yards.
There we go.
Your third down conversions for the Yowman, 4 of 17.
Oof.
That's actually not terrible.
I'm sorry?
I've seen worse.
They
Like
went
Georgia.
for it on 4th down 5 times and converted 1.
Okay.
Okay, now that's bad.
That, in fact, is terrible.
Yes. So the 5 of 22 on 3rd and 4th down, not where it needs to be if you're going to be able to find a way to make that a W.
Like Braves
Nathan McCahill for DePaul, 14 of 16.
Okay.
247.
There we go.
4 touchdowns.
Ooh.
4.
Passing.
About it.
4. 13 players had a rush attempt in the game for DePaul.
Spread the wealth.
There was a lot of it. 5 scored a touchdown.
5.
Rushing.
There we go.
Put it on them.
Gabe Quigley, 4 catches, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns.
How many on 3rd down?
Don't know.
Okay.
Seth Mincer, 2 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown. The efficiency strong for the DePaul wide receivers in this bad box score of the day. Do we know what level of football this might be? Is Division 3 NAI?
Football subdivision.
D3.
D3. Okay. Got that. Did you just know that or?
No, he knows everything.
He's at the wiki.
Okay. The Garden City Community College.
Apples.
No, they're the
Eagles.
No, Orchard.
Pirates, aren't they?
The Orchard.
Pirates.
Yeah.
Took on we've actually had these before. The Community Christian College.
Colonels.
Yeah, let's go Pirates.
Seaman?
Again? No.
Double
Lions.
up.
Lions.
Leons?
Garden City gets to 4-1 on the season with a 63-0 win.
There we go.
Over CCC.
Clarity.
Those are your initials.
That's 4.
They are. Community Christian, 2 of 12 on third down. Total offensive output, 508 to 163 for the game. Just 82 yards passing for Garden City. Why, you ask? They ran the ball 40 times for 426 yards.
Let's go.
Okay, out here like Michigan.
40 for 426. Yikes. I'm not sure that I've seen this before. Community Christian College out of Michigan fumbled 8 times.
They don't care.
8.
Bad ball security.
That's
3 points
terrible.
of pressure.
That's terrible.
It's because these kids don't practice anymore.
They don't.
They need more contact periods.
Lacey Dewan, 15 carries, 126 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
Julius Tikiasuva, 5 carries, 90 yards in a touchdowns. Gene Sledge Jr., 5 carries, 85 yards in a touchdown.
Okay.
Tyleek Burton, 5 carries, 61 yards in a touchdown.
There we go.
That's 4 players who averaged over 10 yards per carry in one game.
Extra about it.
It's up for the defense to stop them.
And all had at least 5 carries, by the way. So it's not like 1 or 2 carries. Tyler Nelson, by the way, ran 4 times, 22 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's got to be fullback.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
Got to be.
Let him grind in there. Ground and pound. It was not a great day for Mekhi Hunt at quarterback for CCC. He was 3 of 16 for 12 yards passing.
Letting your namesake down.
I had to be careful
Initial
with it.
sake.
I'm not going to say that again.
Not
Anyway,
again?
No.
Out.
Appreciate Trent Dilfer, Justin Hokanson, Matt Berry stopping by today. Get all the podcasts at jocksfm.com. Listen to me when I tell you this.
Listening.
Tomorrow's bad box score of the day, a legitimate all-timer.
You say that every... It's starting to lose steam. You're the boy who cried wolf.
We need to know.
The 90-7 was not an all-timer?
There's one better or worse?
This one better and worse.
And Rubik's
better and worse.
Tomorrow.
Wow.
And the Rubik's Cubelic debuts tomorrow. 7 to 10 a.m. on Jocks 94.5. 3-man front coming at you next.